Well, good evening. We're 4 minutes early or 3 minutes early, but we can hang on with that. Let's go here. Post that. Alrighty. Guess I'm going to work on rubbing out my airplane tonight. We got to get her ready for the flying season. Everybody's been texting me about the tornadoes that were here. I didn't even know there was a tornado, to be honest with you, but I just saw the pictures just a couple of miles from me up the way in Clayton. It tore the place up. Clayton and Maplewood. Even in the city, kind of demolished everything. But fortunately for me, I wasn't involved. My garage roof is still on, so all right, we're in good shape. I'll have to put another roof on it. Seems like every time I turn around, I got to put a roof on the garage. In the last 20 years, I bet I put 3 roofs on it. 3 roofs, and I had a wall fall down off the garage. If it happens again, I think I just bulldoze it over. Yeah. This is all trash. We're gonna throw this stuff out, so. Kind of hate to throw the plastic corners away, but I keep saving all this packing trash. Spot the sanding block here. Everybody getting excited about Brodax? We're damn close. I get to stop at my favorite breakfast place and get my ham and eggs breakfast. It only happens about twice a year. I stop at Pocahontas. When I was driving truck, I used to stop there all the time. They got the best ham steak breakfast moving. Well, I don't know who's watching, or let's see here. Nobody. And we got 10 watching. 10 watching, but nobody come in yet. Well, we're only a couple minutes in on it. I'm sure there'll be some people join. Wonder if Charles got his propellers today. They sat up in Chicago for a week. You look and see where they're at. It bothers me. I paid for express, overnight shipping, and for a week they've been in Chicago. last time I checked, it said they were in San Diego. Okay. Nope, that's wait a minute. Yeah, moving through network in San Diego. May 18th. What's the date today? The 20th? 19th. So yesterday, they can't get it out for one day. San Diego to Escondido, about 30 miles, 25 miles. Unbelievable. Okay. Well, I don't have a big spiel like Charles had. Keep rubbing. Wait, needs a lot right there. Keep rubbing. Wendy, like, there's Gary.
Yeah, I heard you say something about the tornado thing. And how close was it to you?
Couple miles.
A couple miles.
It ripped up Clayton and Maplewood where I used to live.
Oh yeah, I saw the videos of it there from the drones, and that's phew. How long was it on the ground there? A couple miles?
I don't know, it tore the whole city up.
I know. It looks like. Phew.
I just looked outside and saw it was dark and windy. I don't pay it no mind. And then I was getting messages on the computer that there's a tornado. Well, there ain't nothing I can do about it. So
Hmm. Yeah, we got some wind off of it the next day, but that's about all I think.
it's like I tell them, they got to turn the harp off if they want to stop modifying the weather.
Well, Steve, did he get? Oh, there he is. He must have been out of it. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Gary.
So how
Tornado
close is it?
miss you?
What's that?
Did the tornado miss you?
Yeah. I'm out by the airport, and that was further east and south. So,
Yeah, it sure screwed up some things around here. Didn't get my house, but
well, that's good.
ain't much I can do about it if it does.
All right. Tony Dallas and Lisa Royce.
What'd they say?
Hi, Sparky, like given. Hi, Sparky, and everyone like given. 12 watching.
Well, hi guys.
5 thumbs up. Now 6.
All right.
I have a question, Bob.
Okay, I have an answer.
How did you attach the timer on the Spectre?
Rubber bands.
No, on the Spectre.
I think it's just in there. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I think it's glued.
Oh, I didn't glue the timer down.
Oh, well, I tell you what, just popped out. Thought it was going to be harder than that.
Yeah, I don't do that kind of shit.
That, yeah, it won't program. It still worked for the flight time and what I had it set for. But if I hooked up the programmer, nothing happened.
What
Tried
was
another,
in there?
tried,
Nothing, just sitting in there.
huh?
It was just sitting in there, right?
I think it was, no, I think you had a little bit of tack glue on that corner. I don't know if you use CA or
In the
something.
corner with a hole in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
yeah, but only the top one, not the bottom.
right.
And it stayed in there just fine. So anyway, I'm going to replace it because I don't trust it. If one part of it stops working, who's to say another part would stop working and at the wrong time?
Yeah.
Electrics don't
Sparky, have
really,
you flown it yet?
Nope.
not that one, no. We're going to go out Friday, aren't we, Bob?
I guess if the weather's good.
The best of the week.
That's a big if. I mean, every time Saturday we were supposed to have beautiful weather as of Wednesday. And Saturday morning I got up storming. It was absolutely storming, but we were going to a friend's house. It's about an hour north of here. So we drove to Eden and it was still raining. I thought, well, this is going to be a washout.
Yeah.
The sky parted, the sun came out, and it was a gorgeous day. It got a little windy about 11 o'clock. After 11 o'clock, I left it on the ground because it's too windy for me. I just hadn't flown that much.
Yeah. I don't blame you there. Been so windy here. If it's not windy, it's raining.
That's the way it is here.
Or both.
If it's not raining, it's both windy and raining.
I have
I
zero
don't know.
flights for the year. It'll be this season will be just like any other season where I went to one Nats and I only had 13 flights in for the year.
Jeez. I don't go to a contest if I don't have 50 flights. I mean, I usually have 50 flights getting ready for the contest.
Yeah.
But this year's been ridiculous. I put in one pattern Saturday and it got windy. And I said, well, okay.
I guess we could have been flying in that tornado. That would have been good.
Oh yeah.
I saw Joe do that. I mean, he made it look easy. Made it look like a dance competition, but he made it look easy.
Yeah.
You were there. He was dancing all over that dang circle.
That would be 22.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting year. Everybody that flew in the wind.
Yeah.
There was no I had the best wind of the day. It was all lousy. It blew from the time we got there till the time we packed up to go home. And I left my stuff in the car. I said, there ain't no way. I mean, I've never flown. If it's over 15, I don't fly. And I had times when my little, whatever you call that thing, was hitting 28 and 29. I said, no.
Oh, your
heck no.
anemometer.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the year I
man,
went to concourse, and I did not fly that airplane because I'm not going to chance flying my airplane in the wind. And they gave out the concourse before the flights, and they made a rule now you got to fly.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Sparky rule.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Well, they got to
Hey,
have
there's
somebody
Roy.
to blame it on.
Hey guys,
Hey,
Uh,
Roy.
I
They
see
knew it
something.
flew because I flew it during practice.
Yeah. The wind here has
Yeah,
been very weird too. It's like the base wind's not too bad, 3 to 7, 3 to 10. but then we get these gusts, 18, 20,
Yeah.
15.
What gets
That'll
me
mess you
is
up if it comes along at the wrong time.
what gets me, the wind's blowing right there. I mean, I'm looking at the flag and the wind's blowing that away right there. So I come around to do my maneuvers and I get up and all of a sudden the plane's back here and I have to turn around and try to save it because upstairs the wind's blowing that away hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's only 60 feet difference. Can you imagine what it
Yeah.
is? Hundreds of feet. Goes every which way back and forth.
Yeah, I remember flying sailplanes. It was a lot of fun like that. You had to figure it out. And the guys that were really good were the guys that could just about see the wind.
Mm.
And I couldn't. I just never was that good. And then when I did a little bit of ballooning, those guys are incredible.
Mm.
Might need cooking a little more. Might need to be cooked a little more.
Well, if you don't think that they're using that harp for weather modifications, you're nuts.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on.
Trying to-
Something is definitely.
They're developing a weather weapon.
It's the chemtrails.
Well, that is the National Weather Service that's doing that. And if you think that putting aluminum alloy in the air is a good idea, sadly mistaken.
Putting aluminum alloy in the air. A
Chemtrail
breathe that
is
crap.
aluminum alloy. It's not. It's to block the sun. That's a Bill Gates idea, and it's done by the National Weather Service.
Oh boy.
They want to block the sunlight out, which is stupid.
Mm.
Looks like Roy's
oughta-
building something. Is that
They
something
talk
new,
about.
Roy?
They talk.
It's a ringmaster that I had covered, but I ripped it
Oh.
off and they're gonna do it again.
Okay.
Had some issues with it. Just wasn't happy. Used too heavy of silk. I got some lighter silk I'm gonna use.
Is that a RSM ringmaster?
So it's a short kit from Canada Models.
Okay. It's not an S1.
No. It's a 576.
Oh, okay.
S1 doesn't
I've
have
got one of those
anything in it.
downstairs.
Right.
I've got one of those downstairs. That's a nice.
Oh, there you
That's a
go.
nice kit.
They're 46.
46.
That's a nice
Okay.
airplane.
But I don't know. I just wasn't happy
Mine's-
with it. So
Yeah. Mine wasn't a kit,
You're
but I've got
putting
that
up
same
spinning,
airplane.
Roy. When you shake your sheets, does balsa dust go up and down?
what's that?
When you shake the sheets before you get into bed, can you see the dust flying?
Yeah.
Okay, you're sanding enough then.
You're a
that's
builder
one
then.
of the corner
Oh,
of the house.
my.
Man, I'm telling you.
I lost my wife about 3 or 4 years ago, and then my grandson and his family was here, and you guys will have the house eventually. So I just kind of got up in the corner here and stayed.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I can't paint in here. I go out in my shed to paint. But
They can hold their breath.
yeah,
It's no worse than fingernail polish remover.
this
It's
is
actually
true.
the same.
Well, I know what you mean, Roy. My wife can. I swear that woman can smell a gnat fart at 50 yards. And I can't paint. I can't paint in the house either.
Oh,
I
no.
ran the engine up here yesterday.
In the house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I
No.
saw him.
Yeah, good grip,
No,
huh?
I ain't gonna do that. I ain't
You
gonna
saw
do
me
that.
do it, Roy?
Yeah,
Roy, don't you do it. I did it one time as a kid, and you get that damn oil gets all over everything.
Man,
Yeah, it
you
does.
just burped it.
You know, it's funny though, honestly. We all talk about the electric being so much easier and so much better. But you know what the main component, the oil component in that fuel is? Castor oil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, when I was a kid and at the height of my modeling, I never had all these problems. It's just once I went to electric and all the other that everything's catching up. I know it's because I'm getting old, but I can fool
Yeah,
myself and say when I was taking my castor oil regular, I didn't have no problems.
there you go.
But I sure do miss the days when I call Tommy up and say, "Hey, let's go make the air smell funny." I can't say that anymore because I'm flying electric. Although I did fly a castor plane Saturday, I flew my Pathfinder with a Super Tiger 51 on it. Boy, that engine runs sweet.
And if he calls and tells you, let's go flying, be out there in a half an hour. So, oh no, I gotta charge my batteries.
I just charge them on
Yeah.
the way. I just charge one or two on the way and then charge the rest of them once I get there. That's all right. I can do that. I did have that problem, but I've got that fixed now. Bought an
How do you
inverter to go in the
charge them
truck.
on the way?
Huh?
How do you
Got an
charge?
Plug the inverter into the truck and the charger into the inverter, put two batteries
Oh,
on it, and away we go.
I get it.
I've got the big, my truck has the Chevrolet has two different sizes of alternators. Now don't ask me which is which. I think it's a 60 and a 105, but I've got the big one. And it works fine. It did not used to work, but I needed a new alternator and I had a spare engine out here in the yard and I got looking at it and I said, dang, that alternator is a whole lot bigger than the one on the motor I'm running. And I said, no reason for me to go buy an alternator. I got one right there. So I pulled that one off and put it in the truck.
It's a
Had to go buy a
Chrysler.
new V-belt, but it works. Do what?
It's a Chrysler.
No, it's a Chevrolet.
Oh,
No, I've got a couple Chryslers, but I've got one of everything, including a Datsun, a Toyota.
Oh
I've
man.
got a Datsun in the basement. My daughter's got their Toyota. Then we've got two Fords, two Chevys or three Chevys, two Chevys, and a Chrysler. Then we
probably
got
a
another.
police. It's probably a police alternator, the big one.
No, it's a truck. It's
Yeah,
on a
but
truck. If it's in a car, it would be a police alternator, but on a pickup truck, you got two different sizes.
they don't have police trucks.
Well, they do, but I don't think that's the thing. It's an option when you go to buy the truck. Sparky, my truck's an 02. It's an
Yeah, that's
02.
older than the
The
one I
older
had.
I've got a 50 F1 in the backyard. I've got a 70 Chevy C10, and then I've got the 02. I don't have new cars.
I got an 04, so mine's old too. 21 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got money in the bank, but I don't have a new car. My wife manages the money around here, and she says, you don't need a new truck. That one runs fine. So, okay. Yes, ma'am. Hey, she's kept me out of the poorhouse for 50 years. I ain't gonna start arguing with her now. Wasn't
We
for her,
need
I
to go
wouldn't have
back.
pot to pay. Huh?
We need to go back to gallery view there, Sparky, or YouTube.
The mouse go.
My wife is the brains of my family. I ain't no lie there. Because I would have had new cars and bass boats, and I'd be broke as a skunk.
Oh, they'll give you a low rate on the bass boat,
Yeah.
low interest, just
Yeah.
gonna take you 20 years to pay it off.
Yeah, 10 years. It was 10 years when I bought mine, but I went to buy one. I went to FLW championships in Forest Wood, who I'd met many times. Did not know I'd made enough impression on the man that he remembered my name, but he did. He come in and says, Philip, I think I got your boat. And he showed me a 2018 Ranger 521 Icon. I fell in love with that boat. And then I saw the price tag and about fainted. $108,000.
Only.
Holy moly. I said, no, Forrest, I said, if you want to sponsor me in tournaments with one of those, I will be proud as punch to drive it. But as far as me paying for it, no, I can't do that.
Well, you can buy one pickup truck for that.
Nowadays,
I went to look at I looked online and they have these things on the internet now. Unsold trucks for seniors. And it's a bait and switch gimmick. It's all
I
it is.
Yeah.
bet.
$20,000 or $200 a month. You can drive this truck. And they showed me a it was a high country Chevy and a GMC Denali. And I mean, both of them fully loaded. Sunroof, sliding back glass, fancy tailgate, fold down tailgate, everything loaded. $200 a month. Go to the Chevrolet dealer. Well, the Chevrolet dealer is an hour and 10 minutes from my house. All right, I'll be there in an hour. Be there in less than an hour and a half. So hold that truck. Go ahead and clean it up. I'm going to drive it home. For that money, I'm bringing it home. We got in the car, went straight to the Ford dealership. That truck left here 20 minutes ago. Well,
Oh,
we got
man.
these over here. Well, how much are
Right.
they? 71,000, 75,000, 78,000. I
That's
said,
crazy.
bait and switch. Bait and switch. That's all this is. Y'all have a nice day. Oh man, they did everything but step in front of the truck. Well, I think we were in the truck that time. But step in front of the truck. I said, sir, you look pretty healthy. But if you step in front of the truck one more time when I'm trying to get in, we're going to find out how healthy you are. You have made me mad. You better get the heck out of my way. And he was smart enough to move that time. So I don't know. I do not like being bait and switched, especially when it costs me a half a tank of gas and 2.5 hours out of my day. I just thought that was dirty pool. I slammed them on the internet every way I could. They had a lawyer call me and want me to cease and desist. I said, tell me one thing that I said that wasn't true, that I can't prove, and I will cease and desist. Just one thing. They couldn't. But it's that place just absolutely. Why is everything fuzzy? My main screen is fuzzy as all get out. You guys are clear as a bell.
Yeah.
Steve's fuzzy.
Well,
Oh,
Steve's just got his background.
Gary's
Yes,
background's fuzzy.
Yeah, I made it that way.
Yeah, I should. I started out doing mine, but it makes my eyes cross looking at all that stuff. So
Oh,
I quit it. This room's not in that big a mess right now, so I'll leave it alone. Oh, me.
caffeine coming in.
Caffeine, you're awfully early.
yeah.
Wow.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, pretty good. Just
Oh, he's
on
in the
the
car
way to
again.
work.
He's in the car,
Uh,
but look at this. He's on the passenger side this time.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
My word, some caffeine's letting somebody else drive. Oh, we're gonna have to rag him about this.
that's good. Good news,
Who's
right?
who's driving?
Somebody else.
Oh, hopefully it's somebody you trust.
Yep.
He's hanging on to the
Yeah,
oh
I
shucks
saw
bar.
that.
Well, I just want to share you some updates that yeah, I am getting more comfortable with inverted flights now. So last weekend I went flying and yeah, I had like 3, 4 flights, and on every flights I could manage to have like 5 or 6 of inverted laps. So yeah, it was fun that I finally
Congratulations.
found. Yeah, when I'm finally yeah, I found the sweet spot for flying inverted now. But the question is, why is every inverted flights, during the inverted flights, the engine run the same, but after 5 or 6 laps of inverted flight, it drops. You know, if the inverted flights only last like 2 or 3 laps, when go back to upright level, it's just it will be okay. It will run the same. But when I have like 5 or 6 of inverted flights, the engine was going down.
Starting to
Tagging?
slow down.
Yeah.
It sounds like you need to raise your tank just a touch when the motor's right side up.
Okay. Okay. I will try.
Now just to go, everybody says go a quarter of an inch and then come, no, go up a 16th or an eighth, no more.
Okay.
And I don't know what that is in metric. I'm sorry. I was
Uh-huh. It's okay.
raised on the old system and I don't know metrics worth a darn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's doing the horizontal eights. It was all fine. Doing the inside outside parts, say engine run the same, but after 5 or 6 laps inverted, it's but during the inverted flight itself, it's not going down.
It's not going down during the inverted flight.
Yep.
Oh,
During
it
the
is.
five
Okay.
laps are so
Okay. Yeah.
it stays the same all
All right.
through the inverted, but when going back to upright, suddenly it drops.
Oh, you might need to lower the tank a little bit then. If it's going
Okay.
back, if it slows down when you get back right side up, you might need to lower the
Mm.
tank a little bit with a plane right side up.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Okay.
play with that up and down. Just go a little bit
Mm-hmm.
at a time and see what it does.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets worse, go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
it's 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 simple, but it's not so simple. You just have to play with. I've got one plane that everything told me I need to raise the tank.
Mhm.
I had to lower to 16th, and it's
Okay.
perfect after that. So it's
Okay.
sometimes it just don't work the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never
Okay.
been able to explain that. That's another reason I fly electric.
Yeah. That's right. So, uh, will pressurize the tank system help? I'm running
Pressurized
a
tank system.
uniflow.
It
I'm running a
can.
uniflow.
It can help. Well,
Okay.
McDonald's is weird in Indonesia. Look at that. You still got the big arches. Not boy, you got some pretty buildings though.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, AAA.
Man, they got pressure can help it and it'll make it run the same. Just don't expect to get that surge at the end right before you run out of fuel. If you
Oh
count
yeah.
on that to know when it's going to run out, you won't get that on pressure.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. I will try several options.
That can do it. Tank height and yeah, you can get to muffler pressure. That can help you.
Yep. I will
Oh,
try.
excuse me. Something I ate didn't agree with me.
Just blame it on the dog, Phil.
I tried, but he tried to bite me, so I gave up. No, not really. Yeah, he gets ill when I say he did it. He's no, I didn't either. Mama believes him. That's the hard part.
I hear Dennis
Daggone dog.
Animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Dennis in here
We
tonight.
got Dennis.
Can you see me? Am I? Oh, there I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
Now
are.
that's Dennis. That right there behind you is something I have always wanted to play with, and I've never had one. But so help me, I'm going to find one eventually and get it.
Well, hey,
Right
bring your
dead
big
behind
car.
you.
Maybe I'll sell it to you when you get here. I don't know.
Yeah,
When I see you in Brodak. So
I tell you what, I've got a lake here in the neighborhood that's just about an acre and a half, and I thought that'd just be a fine place to run one of those. But I've never had one to run it. Never had a chance to try one.
well, I've always wanted one too, and I got this from my dad. Actually, got that,
I'll be darned.
and I'm betting he never had it on the water. But I was able, how they say you can find on the internet, you can find anything.
Uh-huh.
I found the instruction manual for this thing, how to set it up and everything
Cool
like
deal.
that.
Yeah.
It's actually a glass hull, plywood, bulkheads in it and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
it was
cool.
apparently the company, it was, basement operation. Apparently they quit making them around 08 or something like that. So
Is it a
Yeah.
Dumas kit?
pardon me?
Is it a Dumas kit?
No, this is a cottage industry.
Uh-huh.
they were apparently really popular for a while, as near as I can tell. There were a lot of boat clubs were having like one event races for them and stuff. There's some really neat pictures
Yeah.
of them running.
Yeah.
And I've done a little bit, watched a couple of videos and stuff, and gosh, it don't look that hard to do it. Haha. And I got a pond in my backyard too. One of those no fishing, no skating, no
Yeah.
swimming. Doesn't say a damn thing about sailboating. So,
Nope. Nope. I tell you what, back in the 80s or early 90s, and I can't remember which, when America's Cup was so big, before they went to catamarans and all
yeah,
that.
before it got weird. Yeah.
Yeah, the models were coming out. There's a bunch of them, and you'd have a Miss America, the America's Cup boat, and
Mhm.
you'd have the Kiwi boat with the wing on it. We're all
Mhm.
trying to figure out what the wing looked like, and then the
Mhm.
wing boat came out, and it's exact scale of the Kiwi boat. And the whole thing was everybody's concentrating so much on that darn wing that they weren't paying attention to any of the other stuff they were doing to the boat. It was the other stuff that was really the big difference.
Well, they
So,
got that wing got inside of America's head, shall we say.
yeah, yeah,
And all they could worry about is, oh, what's that? They got some kind of secret thing. Oh, it's like
yeah,
you still win the race by sailing the boat, man.
yeah. Well, you know, I can't think of his name. Something started with an A. Amato, Joe Amato made a big change to his rail dragster. He laid the wing. The wing always stood up, I don't know
Mhm.
what degree it was, 40 or something. He laid it back 15 degrees, but they didn't talk about the wing. They talked about the fact every time he got out, he threw his jacket real quick over the clutch linkage down in the car. And everybody thought Joe's doing something special on that clutch linkage. And all they paid attention to was that clutch linkage. We're back taking pictures of the cars. And I thought, how come Muldowney and everybody else's cars up with a wing like this? And Amato's is way back here. What's
Mhm.
going on? Something's funny, but
Yeah.
I'm not a expert or whatever, so I didn't go pursue it, and nobody else seemed to care. All they want to know about was I want to see his clutch linkage. Well,
I don't know.
he crashed the car and it was sitting there, and the clutch linkage was just like everybody else's, but that wing was sitting there, and they finally caught on. Okay, it's the wing angle. So. Hey,
Yeah.
Steve, I got
Yeah.
to tell Steve this. If you want to hear something weird, you are so fuzzy that you look like we see your hand out here in the air doing this, but we have no idea what's in your hand or what you're working on.
Oh, I
Your body
was,
shows
Yeah, that's it.
up and your hand shows up.
Bill,
But
he's pulling a number on the rest of us. What the hell's Steve doing? Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
it. That's it.
that's
Steve's
what it
like that.
is.
All right. Now I'm not blurred.
All right.
There you
Yeah, I had
go.
to replace the timer, FM9 timer in the Spectre.
Did you finally decide that it was the timer that was giving you grief?
Yeah, John Paris talked to Will Huben about it, and apparently it's something with, when you have the speed controller hooked up to the timer, it's only using 3 of the pins,
Right.
and then when you hook up the programmer, it's using all of the pins, and in fact, it's the other 3 apparently that work with the
Oh, okay.
programmer. So I wasn't
Mhm.
going to trust the 3 that are there to control the speed controller. I just replaced it.
Yeah. Is it possible that you were connected to the wrong 3? Could have been. Well, when you
No.
get the thing out in your hands, you can look at all of that and do one more
Yeah.
one more round of diagnostics on it. And
Yeah, I did that.
all right.
And
Put it
then
in a little box and send it to our friend in Kent State, retired from. I presume he's retired. God, I hope he's retired. But
I
yeah.
talked to him one time, and I talked to Will years ago, back when we were still flying fuel. And I kept thinking that guy is really smart. And I kept
oh,
talking and
you
kept
think?
talking. I
Yeah.
had no idea what he did for a living. Then I found out and said, yeah, no wonder. I've talked to 2 people that made me feel like that. Him and Bob Hunt's buddy. I can't remember his name, but
Not Bob Hunt.
Not Bob Hunt.
Dean's
No.
office.
Bobby's, you talk stunt, you talk to Bobby, but if you want to talk theory, talk to this guy.
Oh,
Gene-
gotta
Gene
be,
Dean's
Pappas.
office.
yeah, that's
Gene
it.
Pappas,
Uncle
yeah.
Dino.
And Dino is smart.
Yeah.
I was talking to him one time at Nats, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but I had to say, Dino, can you dumb that? I didn't say Dino, I said Dean, but anyway, can you dumb that down just a little bit? He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he just changed gears and talked to where I could understand every word. But there for a minute, I felt like a dummy.
That's what you
He
get when you
is,
have a 185 IQ.
yeah,
Mm.
he is sharp.
Well,
That
that's
man
it.
is
He
sharp.
starts talking, and all of a sudden, he starts getting a little fuzzy, and pretty soon you're seeing snowflakes in the air, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
complete snow job
What
going
the
on here.
heck
What's
is he
going
talking
on here?
about?
Well, I once had him and Howard Rush in the shop at the same time, and
Oh,
they started
geez.
talking, and they started talking to each other, and then I had to sweep up all the brackets and equations and symbols that fell out of their mouth.
Oh Lord.
I
Oh
feel your
me.
pain. All right, so
Guys, everybody stick around for a few minutes. I got to go munch a minute, and I'll be right back.
all right.
All right, now that he's gone, we can talk behind his back.
Yeah.
Who said I wasn't still listening?
Mm, that's it. That's it. So, Sparky, I'm sorry I've been so invisible and everything like that. Happy to see you're still here. So,
Still alive, even after the tornado.
yeah, we didn't have a tornado. We just had a good old fashioned thunderstorm. So they had 65-mile-an-hour winds. So, which means it was like Tuesday. I mean, it was just another day. I cannot believe how windy it's been this spring.
Yeah,
I mean, it
Crazy
just doesn't let up. So,
yeah.
No.
During that storm, we heard the sirens going off, and we'd seen the notices, and the hail is coming down like crazy at our house. My wife's in the garage looking out the door. Dogs are inside hiding. We had marble-sized hail, so that wasn't too bad.
They had softball size hail during
Wow.
the tornado.
Not where I am.
No, but I mean in St. Louis here in
Oh man,
Maplewood and Clayton.
yeah.
Every,
Yeah, it really tore up North City, I think.
Yep.
All the
Where
pictures
got
I've seen.
hit really bad.
What you been doing lately, Bob? Hunt?
Working on 3 twins. I hope I don't get the parts mixed up.
Uh-oh, 3 different ones, all different sizes?
I'm sorry?
3 different sizes?
2 of them are about the same size. One is an extremely high aspect ratio. Matter of fact, Eddie and I have been on the phone for the last few days. Well, this morning, probably almost an hour. Talking about, yeah, it's a 7-to-1 aspect ratio.
No, I actually that hour is that's a little thing. He says, "Tell me about high aspect ratio." I says, "Oh, got a minute?" No.
An hour later.
When it comes to
Yeah,
high
that's
aspect
it.
ratios, I defer to Denny,
So what is that supposed to do for you?
It's got a higher L over D, lift over drag. It lifts better and has less drag.
Mm.
It'll
There's a
make
couple
it
of
turn
a couple of
faster.
A given
things
amount
going
of lift that
on.
has less drag. And Denny told me something today that I never even thought of. He said, prepare to use less battery because of the less drag. That's interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's noticeable. You know that the drag is low because the battery usage head to head on a normal airplane. You'll see the difference. So
What I have found with high aspect ratio airplanes, they turn faster because the clock time is less. You only got 8 inches of wing root to turn. That's a whole lot better than 11.5 inches, but they're hell in the wind.
Why are they hell in the wind?
All that leverage, they going like that.
well, what I notice in the wind is that they penetrate like crazy.
Yeah.
And they don't give up any turn. I've had too many normal airplanes that they start opening up corners or sliding through corners and stuff like that. and a high aspect ratio airplanes seem to have, they don't give that up. I think that is the low drag. I think the advantage with high aspect ratio and an electric especially is that it would have a lot less. There would be that you still have better control of any airspeed gain or anything like that. And in a glow airplane, I think it probably would have been better with a bigger prop or something like that. I was flying OS 35s and stuff. If I had been flying on a 10-inch prop, if I'd have been flying a something with an 11 or 12-inch prop on the same airplane, the airspeed would have been steadier. But hey, you can start an argument. We could start an argument right here with this group, and I could argue either side. How important is drag on a stunt plane? I like, especially back when I was flying OS 35s and trying to compete with people flying 46s and 60s. Visually, I needed an airplane that looked big, and I needed it to be low. I needed it to be to maximize the usage of the power I had to work with. So
we had some more comments on the YouTube. Daniel
Cool.
Barry Sports says, "Hey everyone, happy Monday." Era Decadian, Sparky, which butyrate thinner? Dedikian. Sparky, which butyrate thinner do you use, and where do I get it besides Brodak? Didn't see it in your store.
Wix, call Wix Aircraft, and use the discount code Stunt10 and get 10% off. WICS Aircraft.
Does Wix have alternate? Do they have different varieties of butyrate thinner, or is it just whatever, or is it just a single thing? You just get the butyrate thinner.
Well, if you get butyrate thinner for using butyrate dope, you get nitrate thinner for using nitrate dope, but they have other finishing products as well. They got a different kind of dope there, but don't use it.
Okay, so they don't have different variations of butyrate thinner. They're just
No.
one size. Okay,
Just
one size fits all.
Okay.
Okay.
Get yourself a canner retarder if you're painting in humid areas. And they say not to use more than 10%, but I've used 30% and it hadn't hurt anything.
Let's see. Go Fast Racing. Cheers. I usually build free flight models. Aircraft Spruce is my go-to for butyrate dope. They have nitrate in tautening and non-tautening too, and try to get the same thinner or reducer to reduce blushing. Add a few drops of oil for plasticizer. I've heard all that.
A1690 is the part number for non-tautening butyrate dope.
Okay. He says they also have MEK type 1 and 2.
You don't want to use that.
MEK is really volatile, isn't it? Doesn't that stuff go
I
off
don't
really
know what
fast?
that is.
That is a super hot thinner that you could use for aerogloss dope. But you're not going to paint anything with aerogloss anymore because you can't get it.
Right. Okay. But the free flight guys are probably, very light coats. Question to the poster, if he can follow up on that, can he ask, does he brush or airbrush his nitrate dope? And is there any advantage on a free flight model to use nitrate instead of butyrate? Why does he use nitrate, I guess?
Yeah, he does say airbrushing the thinner and dope on worked good for doing meticulous and light builds. Third generation free flight builder and flyer. I just got up to 30 years the other day. So he hasn't answered your question yet.
Yeah. I'm just curious, the difference. I know there are some control line people like using nitrate on base coats because they claim it has a higher solid content, I guess, fills better and stuff. And of course, you have to switch over to butyrate sometime if you want the paint to stay on after you get fuel on it. But
so if it's electric or free flight, no.
You can use house paint on electric; it don't matter.
I think that'd be a little heavy.
No, he's quite literally right. It's correct.
No, it wouldn't be heavy.
House paint?
Yeah. What do you think? Can't remember his name now. The perpetual beginner builds with. He finishes his airplane for $1.85. He uses those acrylic poster paints on it.
Huh. Let's see. Go Fast still posting. MEK is used to remove old covering. Add 3 drops to a trash bag and put the model in the bag in the sun. Covering will slide off like a silk legging within a few minutes.
That's pretty interesting. But a pre-flight finish is going to be lighter, thinner slash
yeah,
than
I
what
would
we
think it
use
had
and
to
stuff
be,
like
yeah.
that. And obviously they build high quality models and quite high quality finishes too when you come right down to it.
Yeah.
No paint buildup or anything like that. So
But one thing I will tell you, I was reading that post on Stunt Hangar about clean strip lacquer thinner. Do not use store-bought, Lowe's or Home Depot clean strip lacquer thinner in dope. It'll blush. And Brett came
okay.
back with a thing that I didn't know, that they're adding water to it along with another chemical or whatever.
The stuff that you clean brushes and
Yeah, the stuff
and
you
the
bought a
gun.
gallon of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's gun cleaner only. If you're gonna use Randolph thinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's $55. Just bite the bullet and don't worry about it.
Yeah, I remember my dad used to we were using Aerogloss and everything like that, and he would buy cheap ass hardware store cleaner or thinner for cleaning out the spray gun and stuff like that, and that's the only place it went. Never
3608S.
got mixed into anything useful. So
That 3608S, everybody swore by it, but it makes the paint look milky.
Let's see. Go Fast says nitrate for any non-fuel models and for attaching covering. Butyrate is, of course, for fuel proofing. It can be used for base coats to fill better. So that's a different opinion there. KB epoxy used to be the best fuel proof, same as KNB as the engines. And MEK, you got to be careful with CA glue. It's better than using acetone to dissolve CA.
I had not heard that one.
I hadn't either. He says, you folks know the baking soda and CA glue trick. Baby powder does the opposite. We'll keep it from sticking or wicking. He's in Southern California. Minnesota Mike asked him where he was.
Yeah, okay. All good stuff.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
Anybody read that article by Jake Moon about an alternative finishing method in the Stunt News Quarterly?
Yeah, I did. That was a real interesting.
That was interesting.
Talk
yeah.
about Jake does nice work, and talk about putting up with what he had to work with and stuff like that. I thought it was really good. So
Show us your wares, Bob.
Bob's got something in his hand. Oh, it's a wing.
yeah, that's the wing he's sending to me.
Oh, that's the high aspect ratio wing.
Yeah, look at that sucker. Oh my God.
Wow.
That is just great, Bob.
Is that a foam core or built up?
It's a foam. This one's a foamer. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 63 inches with a 9 1/8 inch average chord, 7-to-1 aspect ratio.
Hmm.
Let's see if I can back a little further. You can see I'm about 5'11".
You got the camera pointed down too far.
Yeah, I can see though. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's longer than you are tall.
Almost.
A little higher.
That's it.
Keep going up.
All right.
You didn't get any on it.
It's still awfully close. Yeah.
Yeah. He's bending over now.
Quite a big boy.
That's it.
Yeah. And that's going to be a twin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to be a hell of a twin. But
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of 3 I'm building, but the other 2 are fairly normal aspect ratio. A little high, but not much.
you can never be too rich, too thin, or have too much aspect ratio.
Words to live by.
And never be too light. Make it light. You'll need it.
Sparky, weight don't matter.
Yeah,
Just put
right.
a bigger motor in it.
All right, Brett.
Did I ever
Yeah.
tell you my
Do I get
power
points
to
for pushing Sparky's buttons on that one? So,
weight, did I ever tell you guys my power to weight theorem?
I don't think so.
All right, here's the Bob Hunt power to weight theorem. The more power you have, the less time you have to wait.
mm, mm. That's about it.
Yeah, that's good. Man, we're entertaining tonight. We got 30 people watching,
Won't they
Really?
come
but only 6 thumbs up.
Hey, you guys, you're sleeping. If you wanted to continue doing this, hit the like button.
I chased someone away. It's down to 29.
Oh, well.
Well, I made sure I hit the like button before I joined in. So
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
write a
I do
note on
that.
that, but yeah, that certainly helps. YouTube's algorithms and everything like that are all based on that kind of stuff. It really does make a difference, folks. Just bump it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're up to 31. They just drug somebody else in.
31
see?
likes. Come on,
No,
guys.
31 watchers.
Hit
They
the
still
thumbs
only
up
have
button.
6 likes.
All right.
So Go Fast Racing and Minnesota Mike are on a tangent. They're discussing free flight.
That's all right.
Yeah, model airplane.
Go For It Painting has a link that I'm going to share of airplanes in Belgium. It's a real airplanes. I'll share it on after the. I'll put it in the description of this video. He asked me to share it. I said okay.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Sounds good. Now, my wife and I just had a trip here a couple of weeks ago. We went to Alaska. All right. So we got our 50th state. That was the whole thing. And while we were up there, one of the tours I was really hot for, and she agreed to go ahead and do it, was we took a bush plane up to the glacier, up to Mount Denali, and flew around it and then landed on the glacier. All right.
Wow.
Wow.
The airplane, is a de Havilland Beaver, powered up with a PT6 turbine, a big 4-bladed prop, and everything like that.
Turbo Beaver.
That may be the most powerful airplane I've ever flown in.
Wow.
I mean, you just get the impression it's just the motor's just kind of humming along and the airplane just leap. It's the first tail dragger I've ever flown in. So we're sitting there on the ground, whatever, rolling along. All of a sudden we're flying along and the airplane never rotated. All right. It just took off from a 3-point attitude. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And, the whole thing, I think we were cruising at about 120 miles an hour, and it was probably going up or going down or anything else. And he actually used he actually went, reversed the pitch on the prop when we were landing and stuff like that. So, to stop it. Bush planes all over the place up there, of course, but they don't need much runway either way.
Yeah.
So.
Howard's iPhone has joined us.
Yeah, Howard's iPhone. You asked how much my Vortex weighs. It's 62 and a half.
And that's the foam wing.
No, that's a built up wing.
How much have you
caramba.
flown that, Sparky? Have you flown it a lot?
I haven't flown it at all.
And hasn't flown it yet.
We haven't had any weather.
Well, that's
No.
true. Same thing here.
Keep our fingers crossed. We're going to go out Friday.
Well, I don't know. I went out I haven't been doing a lot of other things. I haven't been out to the field or anything like that. So I went out today just to double check and make sure the field was good. We got our contest coming up Saturday, and boy, it looks good. They've done a nice job already on the field. They're going to mow it tomorrow and Friday, and I'll go paint the circle on it probably Thursday afternoon after they mow, and I'm anticipating we're going to have that. Our weather forecast says 5 to 9 miles an hour winds and 63 degrees.
Ours says
Nice.
5 to 9 with occasional gusts to 90.
That's what it's been like around here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the weather liars this far out. I mean, you can't really hold them that accountable for any forecast
No.
on Monday for what Saturday is going to be, especially not for wind. They might be able to have a pretty good guess about a rain system or front moving through or something like that. But I don't know. If you don't have optimism, you don't have much else. So
Yeah. Jonathan Karadas is on the chat. He says Kia ora, everyone.
It's Kiora.
I don't know what that means.
I hope it means hi.
He
And
says,
it
"Good
might
Lord."
it might be a Kiwi for yo mama too.
That
So,
might be. He says, "Good Lord, is that the intrepid ice explorer Denny?" And we're up to 35 watchers, and we still don't have any more than 6 likes.
What is the deal, guys?
Yeah.
No, that's kind of weird.
Maybe they don't like us.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot
They're
to
just
put mine
watching
in
to
tonight.
hate. Now we're down to 33. They just pop in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't like us, so they not much reason to stay.
I guess.
My goodness, Howard's in already. As early
No,
as
it's
it is.
Howard's iPhone. It's not Howard.
Yeah.
Well, that's as close as we get to Howard, unless you go to the Nats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you fly today, Howard?
No, I didn't. It's raining today, Clement, and I got a note from Amazon that said, well, first, I got something saying, here's your access code to, and I didn't know, ask for anything.
No.
But then I got a note from him that said, somebody from Pennsylvania is trying to log into your account. Now, look, what are you doing? In my,
Maybe Robbie.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's Robbie.
Oh, well, I don't know, Howard, but just take a look over his left shoulder there. You might see what he's been, I don't know how long that's been sitting there, but
I can't see his shoulder from here.
well, just back, leaning on the wall behind him off his left shoulder. Yeah.
Hey, Sparky, I had to refresh that.
Your other
page.
left. I think I think
we got
you're back in the
24
corner
likes.
there. Yeah, it looks like it has 6 strings on it. I'm not sure.
Oh, that one there, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that looks like he electrified. What is this?
No, he plays a glow powered guitar.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Is that the guitar you were talking about going to Virginia to pick up?
No, this is it's just a 335 variant. It's a
Pretty
Noel
guitar.
Gallagher signature series Riviera, which is basically a
Riviera, yeah.
335.
Yeah. I don't know all the designations, but I do know Riviera. My guy I used to play with has one.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he's got 3, but anyway.
Oh,
335 variants.
Yeah. How you like your
guys?
You got a flat top, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a new Taylor 424, which is urban ash. It's really nice, really pretty. Wish my airplanes weren't that good.
Oh,
Wow.
Roy left. Okay.
Roy left, and Sparky moved all the way over to the end. What's that all about?
It
Very
kind of
strange.
does weird
Hey,
things.
Howard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you think about that wing there? It's 63 inches, average chord 9 1/8 with the flaps on. That's 7 to 1.
Wow.
Randy Hall did stuff like that.
It's neat what you can do when you're retired from competition.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about what works. You just got to worry about what you always wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
Do stuff I always wanted to do, which was since I flew I think the first one of yours I flew, Denny, was the orange crate.
mhm.
And that had kind of a V-tail, but not a real extreme V-tail, right? Kind of a moderate.
Real flat.
Yeah.
Real flat.
That flew really good. I love that airplane. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think I flew your Eclipse too one year, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
The
Let
blue
me
one.
think. I think you flew it at a team trial. You were, I think, assistant director in Dayton.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 83.
I was 79, 81, and 83.
All right, might have been 81. Okay, I think it was 81 because I still had the rear exhaust motor in it then.
Yeah, that's a nice airplane.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've never seen in that time frame. There's only 2 guys that were flying tight maneuvers. It was you and McDonald.
Mhm.
You guys were flying very, very tight, concise maneuvers. It looked really good. It looked, you know, a lot of people are doing it now, but you guys were like the pioneers of that back then. You were
Mhm.
always tight, no matter what.
Well, what can I say? So it always it's the right way to fly it. So
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looked good. Looked real compact, you know, and real
Yeah.
precise.
Well, you can be too small though. Don't want to be too small.
This wasn't too small. Everybody else was flying too big at the time. So
Oh, okay. We got a guy named Robert Ortlep says hi from northern Alberta, Canada.
wow. All right.
Gerald Wimmer told me to refresh the page because he
And we
was
got
showing.
29
Yeah.
likes.
Yep.
Wait a minute. I added one and the number went down.
That means you must have clicked on it once before. If you click on it a second
Not
time, it'll
tonight.
decrease.
Not tonight.
Okay. I don't know then.
That's
And
very
we're
strange.
up to 40 watchers.
Monday night does pretty good. Friday night, not so much.
Not so much. Yeah.
Well, come on, guys. Come on in here. Don't stand out there and listen. Come in, talk, chat,
Yeah. Right.
hang out.
or
I think I can
Let's
take
There it
it
is.
to 100.
where'd it go?
Oh, the
I
orange
remember
crate.
seeing that airplane.
Good photography.
Hmm. Yeah, I used to know a guy used to run a magazine. He was
That's the airplane. I love that airplane.
last I heard he had some trouble in Poland. He was trying to take pictures of the Polish bikini team or something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
So,
That was a good
Oh,
flight. That was a nice airplane.
well, there's the flat feed tail we were talking about, but
You still have that?
I do not.
yeah. I was just going to ask that.
So
And the iPad has joined us.
Joe,
there we go.
That must be Joe
That
Gilbert.
would be Joe Gilbert.
It is. That's a
Well,
cool
not that.
airplane, Dennis. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bob and I were he asked some questions about it, and I told him I was really, went anal on trying to go low drag and everything like that. So I went with the single wheel and everything. I had a different outrigger arrangement to keep the wings from tipping, and it didn't work real well. And I ended up using this with the outriggers way on the wingtips, and never liked it, but it was functional.
Added more drag than
Yeah,
Yeah,
you lost that program.
You're right, Howard. It would have
You
added more
lost.
drag.
All that wire is drag.
yeah.
Mhm.
There
Yeah,
is.
a lot of drag.
But anyhow,
It was cool because you did it.
Yeah.
It flew good.
let's just say I'll own my prejudices and let it go with that.
It's all there.
It had, any modern airplane designer look at this and they'll say, and probably have a heart attack. Look at that stab on there. Oh, the West Coast folks and their 3.5 to 1 stabs and stuff like, aspect ratio stabs. They look at that,
Marlin wing.
So anyhow,
Is that
and to be sure, that may have been one of the things about this airplane that probably needed more thinking, but it looked cool. It matched the wing, all that.
is
kind of
it
stuff.
28% tail, Dennis? You reckon?
It was about 25.
There you go.
The area was good, but the cord was terrible. At the tip, I think it was 3 inches at the tip and 5.5 at the root.
Wow.
The elevator
and-
was only an inch wide. I think it was like 2.5 to 1, basically the same as the flaps were.
And you had dihedral in the
Yeah, just a
in the
tick of
tailplane?
dihedral. And actually, it's kind of funny. When I first built the airplane, my intention was to make let the tail droop. All right, it was going to and then I had it sitting there and it didn't give me a warm fuzzy. I turned around and I put it on the other way. I said, "Oh hell, just do it that way."
You had a lot of VTOL airplanes before this one too, didn't you? The Sweet
Yeah, I
Pea.
had about 10 years. That's all I flew. So I had several. This is actually the last, no, it ended up, I did do one recently, but the tail arrangement is pretty similar to that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I had a bunch of them starting 1971 Nats. I had an airplane called the Sweet Pea.
Yeah, I remember that.
Supposed to be a semi scale, but it was really, really big on the semi and not so much on the scale. And a Goodyear racer.
Do you
And
have
then I
a
had-
similar set of plans for the Eclipse?
I might, that I can post. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I am going to stop sharing. I'll see if I can find it.
Mine's going to be a little
Stand
bit
by
more
for
like
news.
Eclipse in a way.
While you're looking, Denny, if you did that plane again, what would you change?
The airfoil was blunter than it should have been.
I was going to say the pilot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, boo hiss.
Ah,
I don't know.
Joe Gilbert on the handle.
Sometimes I don't miss having, sometimes I'm not unhappy about having
Oh, my
75%
goodness.
hearing loss. So
That's
yeah.
funny.
anyhow,
Oh Lord.
So,
I love you too, big brother.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love you too, buddy.
The shot was there. I took it. You know.
That's it. That's hell. Talk about free shots. That was a layup. But
And I'm not
Oh,
even
Lord.
Caitlin Clark or whatever her name is. You know.
yeah.
That chick is something.
We're down to 32 now, huh?
They must not like details.
I wonder if we're gonna
They
get
don't
any
like,
Bearcat
yeah, they don't like details.
updates today.
Find a picture of that Eclipse, dude.
I'm looking.
I like the way that one looked in the air. The blue one. I like the blue one better than the black one.
Yeah. Well, the black one, I was thinking about making the black one because it was 1979, so I could take it to Super 70s and what you call it at VSC. So
Whoop up on them. You can whoop up on them.
All right, Robert
What year
Ortleb.
was the blue one? That was in the mid 80s?
well, it was, but the black one was 1979.
Okay.
That's what.
So build a blue one and paint it black and say it's from 79.
You
I
can't
could say
do
I was
that.
thinking of it. Does that count?
You can't do that.
Hey, the guy from Alberta had an interesting observation about our jokes.
What's
He
that?
said you guys skipped right from dad jokes to grandpa jokes.
Well, present, you know.
Yeah.
Would this be the wrong time to interject a 51st state comment?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm
Actually-
sorry. The whole time I'm gonna get
Actually, I
muted on
think-
that one.
I
Hey.
think Alberta
And
was
now we're down to 31 viewers.
Yeah, and a couple of hates on it.
Yeah.
I'm not picking as hard as it sounds. I'm originally from Detroit, and Windsor was like, we used to go to Windsor routinely, across the, back you could get across without a passport or anything like that. You want to go out
Yeah, I
to dinner,
remember
you could
those
go
days.
to Windsor
thinking
as
Windsor
easily
was
as
a
you
race-
couldn't downtown.
Racetrack
So
we went to.
Oh, I thought maybe it was when you were young and you could go over there and drink beer.
yeah, I don't remember being young. Hell, I don't even, I look at those pictures. I don't even remember having brown hair, but I guess
I don't
did,
remember drinking
so,
beer.
yeah.
Dennis, I was in a fly tying class a few weeks ago, and a guy walked in. Now, this guy is a retired Methodist pastor. He was wearing a hat that said he had a hat on that said, "If it weren't for flashbacks, I'd have no memory at all." And I saw that thing and started laughing. The next week, he came in and gave me one. So there are two of those hats, and I have one of them. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's it.
Oh.
Well, the best thing about growing old is that all your friends can become all of your new friends too. So
Yeah, every time you see them, every time you meet them.
every time you see them, they're brand new friends. So
You tell the same
Yeah.
jokes over and over. Get a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winchester.
this is crazy. All right. I think I have.
Robert Ortleb says, you guys remember, I live in Alberta. We have the third largest oil field in the world.
Absolutely. And you also have
Yeah.
a real kick-ass premier. All right.
Yeah.
The lady there is just really on top of the whole thing.
Yeah,
And,
they're all for joining being a state.
mhm.
And old control line pilot came in He says for Denny, elbows up. It must be an inside joke. I don't
What's
know.
that?
He
Nope.
says for Denny, elbows up.
Like V-tail elbows.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Whatever. Either that or he's just admiring my my body language here as I sit with so
Yeah.
clumsily here. Here, let
All
me
right,
move the
we're gonna get a
laptop onto my lap.
Bearcat update, aren't we, Mark?
Oh, he's Mark. Mark's here. All right.
We getting a Bearcat update?
You guys are desperate for material, aren't you?
That should be ready to fly by now.
How'd you guess? How did you guess, Mark? I mean, good gracious.
You're gonna make me get my easy bees out.
I don't know the right application.
What's an easy bee?
Free flight wind up airplane.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hey, Joe. and
Yes.
Mark, you guys came in late. I want to show you something real quick.
Please.
63-inch span, 7-to-1 aspect ratio.
Sign
What's that
me
going
up.
in, Bob?
A twin. It's going in a freaking twin.
Only get a twin.
Oh,
Can you
It's gonna
say?
be a
Can you
twin.
say Dennis Adamison?
There's a lot of
trying to
ways to
talk him
skin
out
a
of the
cat.
wing.
There's a lot of
Assuming
ways
you want
to
to
skin
skin
a cat. There's a lot of ways to
Dennis?
skin a cat.
Dennis, I don't even see Dennis now, but anyway, Dennis, if you're still there,
I'm
what
here.
was the one, the white, you flew a white one that had an asymmetrical paint scheme on it, V-tailed, and it was a really long aspect ratio wing, but it had a 40 VF in it that the back of the motor was cut out and your dad made a muffler that kind of came off the back quarter of it. It was hanging in your dad's basement.
Yeah, that one, that I didn't build it. My nephew did.
Oh, okay.
My nephew who now makes indoor props for Easy Bees.
His
among
name's
other
Archie.
things. Yeah,
His name's
yeah.
Archie, in case you don't know that.
Yeah,
Archie. Yeah, okay.
There's
Seems
Big
like you
Art,
did mention it.
Arch and Archie, or Arch 3.
Okay.
He's a good lad.
We used to make them wear name tags at the Christmas party. I mean, we had to figure out how to keep them separated. So
What was the name of that high aspect ratio airplane he flew? I think he flew it in 92 at the Chicopee.
I think, what the hell did he call that?
It's
Was
on
it
the cover of
Apollo?
one of the
Was it-
magazines.
was it
but I don't
Apollo?
remember.
It was in my magazine, but I don't remember what the name was.
Was it Gemini?
Gemini.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Gemini.
Very good.
Okay.
What is the name
God,
of
my
that
memory
pink one,
worked for a
Dennis?
change.
Pardon me?
Believe that if you
What is the
can.
name of that pink one?
The Mythbuster.
Yeah.
So hang on a second here. I think I got something.
I couldn't remember, but I know they made a kit of it. And that's the sweet pea.
Yeah, right. It was supposed to be like the Goodyear Racer. Frankly, I'd like to build another one of these and just try a little harder to make it look realistic.
Man,
The
the
only thing-
elevators were pointy. Did you really have the elevators that pointy?
Mm-hmm.
And what year, Dennis, is that made?
Well, it was okay. That was probably a little exaggerated. You would normally would have had about an 1/8 inch radius on it.
Okay.
It wasn't pointy, like popular pointy or anything like that.
I start to say you're
I
way
think I'm
ahead
gonna
of
try
your-
to find a set of plans to that and build one. I like
It
that.
looks like a rivets with the tail in the wrong place.
No, it looks like a rivets with the tail in the right place, Joe. Come on now.
Okay.
Do you have pictures of the Magister?
Let's see. Did that one come
Oh,
through
there you
here?
go. That's the one I liked.
Yeah.
That's sharp. That's
Now
sharp.
this
I
was
like
the
that.
7-to-1. This wing is actually
Excuse
an
me.
1/8 of an inch narrower than Bob's. So yeah, they were both 7-to-1, but yeah.
Yeah. similar to
This
my
is like 567 squares, and yours is what, 575?
575,
1/8 of
yeah.
an inch over 63 inches, right? 8 square inches. So,
Yeah.
and
Wow, look at
this
the
was
wing on that
supposed
thing,
to
though.
be. I wish the heck I think I got some pictures somewhere, but I'm not sure where I got them.
And that's the 18-inch tail.
Yeah. That's
Where's
the
the
long tail.
pilots?
This is back when
Wow.
our good buddy Teddy was on the publishing his work on the intimidation, excitation.
excitation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And he was really into big blunt wings and big blunt, big thick blunt tails and everything like that. And at that time, I was also did a couple airplanes here with the basically a full airfoil wing with the flaps cut into it, which resulted in very thick hinge lines. And
Wow, look at that though.
and it first pointed out the first version of this, the black one that Bob and I were talking about, was a unflyable until it had sealed hinge lines.
Don't take
So-
that down yet. There's something very subtle here. Did anybody notice something about the fuselage?
There's no canopy.
No, it's,
Well, no.
no,
well-
look at this above the bell crank. There's a weird thing there.
Look
That's
at the
not
former-
even what
look-
he's
look-
pointing
look
at.
Look at the formers that are aft of the wing. They're gently curved to form a monocoque. You curve the sides and you increase the torsional rigidity.
Well, you get no starved horse or anything like that. The fuselage gets stiffer, but I guess what I was really proud of on this too is look at how skinny it is in back.
Mm,
So
yeah.
there's like no weight back there, and you
Yeah.
can carry a long tail and not cause any weight or anything like that.
That was a great airplane.
That's just area rules, so it'll fly Mach 1 better.
I'm sorry again?
Look at how much overhang, even with an 18-inch hinge line to hinge line at the root. Look how much overhang you had on that.
Is there a stressed man in the house?
It's like 4 inches or 5 inches of overhang behind the elevator, the trailing edge of the elevator to the back of the rudder.
Well, part of the game there, Bob, was I'm trying to make a big airplane. All right.
Yeah.
And the airplane had visually a very big footprint, and it had an 11-inch nose back when that meant something, and it had and it was 4 inches from the back of the elevator to the back of the rudder.
Yeah, I like it.
42-inch long airplane, probably.
The rudder there, I had just a screw in the bottom of it and everything like that, so the whole rudder moved, which that's a big ass rudder. No double pun intended, I guess.
BAR.
And I could take the rudder and I could deflect it 90 degrees so it would fit in my car.
Oh my goodness.
That's a BAR.
Yeah, a bar. Definitely a bar.
How did you like that bell crank, Dennis?
At the time, I liked it a lot, and I've learned here since that it probably was one of the weak points of the airplane.
Yeah.
All right.
Really?
And that's in part, Howard's work, the stuff he shared on the control system design and everything like that really had me looking at it. And the goal of that bell crank was to be a self-neutralizing, self-centering device, so you could always come back to neutral really well. Nice idea. The problem is when that bell crank is deflected, if you're giving it up elevator, in effect, the up arm gets shorter and the down arm gets longer. So what you find is that you're actually you're fighting the bell crank to turn the airplane.
Right.
If you can imagine that. And
the other thing you had there, which is interesting, is you had a hatch right above the flap horn, so you could adjust the flap ratio.
Yeah, well, it had separate flap horns, separate elevator horns. I had a hatch here under the tail, and I had a hatch on top of the over the wing. And it's exactly right. It could individually, adjust the throws or the neutrals on anything.
That's good.
And then the single push rod to the tail. Of course, I had the same thing on the bottom here. I could individually adjust the throws or the neutrals on the elevator too.
What year, Dennis?
And just to throw things. And yes, this is the way it was set up, which probably wasn't my better ideas either. Was I used the strip aileron horns, which worked very, very well, but I didn't bother trying to offset them back to neutral, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So from a mechanical standpoint, I had basically an offset here and an offset here, which meant it's the kind of thing you feed this to Howard's program and it melts down.
It melts it.
What do you want to do? You can't do that.
It's not going to get the same movement both ways.
Yeah, we have a question. What is the measurement of your narrowest point of the tail? Oh,
Narrowest point
maybe
of
that's a,
4
and
inches.
maybe
maybe?
that was a question for the guys talking about free flight. I think he's wondering how wide the fuselage is back there.
I think it was 1 inch internal at the flap, and then right at the elevator it was about 3/4 of an inch inside.
And the only reason you get away with that is because of those curved formers, which gave you kind of a monocoque and give you inherent rigidity.
So it didn't flex.
No, flexing wasn't an issue. The again, okay, context is everything, right? First off, the first guy I ever saw do anything like this is take a look at the actual pictures. You have to see it there because I don't think the plan showed properly. Jim Kostecki had a couple of airplanes, a Talon and a Formula S. He used to do that because Jim was prone to building heavy airplanes, and because of that, they were tail heavy airplanes. And he settled on the idea that if he could narrow the fuselage in back, he could narrow the top block and the bottom block and everything, and he could take weight out of the rear of the
Save
fuselage.
weight.
Yeah, take tail weight out, which of course was always a good thing. So flexing and everything like that, the fuselage was really, it was stiff. But the other thing is that with a 35 engine and a 10-inch prop, it wasn't, suspect to a lot of the loads. The guy started putting 60s and Noblers and stuff like that. All of a sudden, things like flexible airplanes started being a real important consideration. And this just wasn't that flexible. So,
Dennis, what's your best guess on the leading edge sweep? Is that an 1 3/4 sweep?
1.5 and then 2.5
Inch
in
and a
back.
half. It looks more.
It was a
It's a
11-inch
good bit.
root, 7-inch tip, 1.5 in front,
And 2 in back.
yeah,
What's
2.5.
what's the
2.5
aspect
in
ratio,
back.
Dennis?
That's got to be 7-to-1.
7-to-1.
It's
And
a
it
true
had a swept forward
7-to-1.
trailing
Yeah.
edge too, 3/4 inch swept forward trailing edge.
Oh, that's good. I like all that.
My experience with my
That
Ryan.
definitely reduces the stick pressure in the wind.
That's it's going to fly in the wind. That's just what I was going to say, Bob. That rascal's going to be nice to you in the wind.
Now mine over here has the same thing, 3/4 inch per panel swept forward trailing edge.
Did you find it was a little sensitive to small changes in nose weight or tail weight?
Never had much trouble bouncing it. I did add tail weight to the first and the third. This one, I don't think I even had that. And I never, Bob and I were talking, maybe another way to answer that too is that I was never as anal about trimming back then as I am now. And now I might have taken a different approach on a lot of things. I might have been more aggressive with it. I mean, back then, my idea of trimming was get the wings level and go fly it. All right. Get it bounced enough to fly it and then learn how to fly the airplane, And
I always thought my
now I would
Ryan.
have been a lot pickier about that, and I would have been adjusting things a lot closer. So
I always thought my Ryan, which has a relatively high aspect ratio, so I think it's 5.4. Very small amounts of nose weight change made a lot of difference in how it flew.
on your Ryan, the Parrot Ryan, you
Yeah.
mean? Okay. I don't know. Do you
That's a
think
fairly low
something like
aspect
the
ratio,
size of
isn't
the
it?
tail or something like that would play in on that?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Again, this is a 25% tail on it, and I think there was something to the fact that the tail was so thick and everything like that. It really, it was a true lifting surface back there. But this airplane did bounce fairly far back, basically the high point of the wing, at the root, which would have been pretty close to the quarter cord, and of the whole wing. So it was, but I didn't have any nose weight in it, and the one that was, the second one, the one that Bob flew did not have, I don't think that had any tail weight in it either. Now, the first and the third were both lighter and they both ended up with tail weight.
It was a statement airplane for its time.
Mm.
What engine, Dennis?
OS 35.
Okay, I figured so.
Yeah, the original one was a one of a kind rear exhaust OS 35.
Is that a 600-inch wing?
567.
567.
Again, I was flying with with guys like Bubba there was flying a Genesis 720 square inch airplane, 60-inch span.
That was 575, almost 6 to 1.
Yeah, it was a but again, I was worried about the footprint of the airplane as much as anything. How much of the air does it fill up? You know, trying to make a little airplane to look big, and
I just think with that high aspect ratio, it should go through corners really smoothly.
Really good. And that tail, there's some good things about that airfoil tail, in my opinion. I don't think there's any downside to that.
Did you find, Dennis, that it cornered well with that big, with the center of gravity back a bit? With that high lift tail?
It flew well, and you heard Bob say that, you know, one of the things he noticed about the airplane is that it did a nice small pattern that was not in vogue at the time.
Yep.
And but it would do it, you know, pretty easily. And you can't do a small pattern if the airplane doesn't turn tight, because, you know, you end up with just, you know,
can't do it.
Yeah, the square corners don't look
splinters.
square or anything like that. You can't do a good looking presentation if the airplane doesn't turn well. So,
Hey, Dennis, would you tell me a little more about that rear exhaust engine? I'd like to know more about it.
if you can give me 5 minutes, I think I can find the carcass of it here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop sharing. You guys get talking. I got to go disappear for a minute. All right.
Hey, Gordy.
All right.
And Gordy, good to see you.
Hi, Gordy.
Hey, Gordy.
Hi, Gord.
Good to see you, buddy.
Phil,
How's Sandy?
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting here eating dinner in front of you.
How's Sandy doing? Gordy, how's Sandy doing?
She's laying down right now. She's broke both arms and legs cleaning the house today. So she decided to go in the bedroom and crash and watch TV.
Oh, say hello for me.
You know, she never sits down and relaxes. She goes, and then crashes on the bed at night.
Where's your co-pilot, Gordon? You're going solo today. Where's your dog?
Oh, he's sitting here waiting for food.
He's just out of camera angle.
Yeah, he's sitting right here alongside me. Come on, get up. Get up. Now, can you see him?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello, beautiful.
Hey, Gordy, we were talking about high aspect ratio airplanes. What was the aspect ratio on your Gemini?
It was 6.4 or something like that. I'd have
That's pretty
to.
high aspect ratio airplane.
Yeah,
And with a twin too. That's kind of what mine's going to be, a twin.
yeah.
Mine's 7 to 1.
Did anybody else's screen just go to Zoom?
No,
No.
I got gallery.
I don't know what's going on here. Let's see if I can get this straightened out. I'm looking at a white page that says Zoom on it.
We see you.
We can see you.
Yeah.
See
Well,
you.
I don't know. I see you. I see. I guess I'm going to have to come back in the hard way. Here we go. Maybe this will work. There
Hey,
we go.
Gordy,
Yes, sir.
There it
this is a rear exhaust OS 35.
Wow.
Wow.
We can't see it.
Can you, Sparky,
There you
can you
go.
blow me up, or Steve, or whoever's in controller?
I don't have that
Got a
control.
flap ring around it or something, or what?
I see your dad's working that.
Basically, you know, it's the crankcase was an OS 35, and cut down the exhaust, and he made this wraparound piece, fit to the curve of the exhaust. And he had at that time, back there at Generous Motors, as we used to call it, he had a guy who was really, really good at aluminum welding, and he welded the manifold onto the engine.
Oh, wow.
And so ended
Man,
up with a nearly direct rear exhaust, but close enough where you could put the pipe right behind the behind the
So,
airplane.
but technically it's still a side exhaust. It's
Yeah.
just manifolded
Packages like a
around.
rear exhaust. All right.
to not
okay.
work that case to weld it up was incredible.
Later on, it was even better when the FP40s came out. Remember, the whole top, the engine was basically twisted about 30 degrees, the ports and everything like that. So it was almost a no-brainer to make the same thing. And then he made the muffler so you could attach it, kind of tucked in next to the fuselage. Let's see, hang on. Like that.
Yep.
Or like this.
Down the middle.
Basically right out the center of the airplane. With a little tail sticking down. And I think this is what my nephew used on his. And that airplane you were talking about, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
This may actually be the same engine. I'm not sure, but
Did you ever fly
run a tune pipe on it?
I'm sorry, again?
Did you run a tune pipe on it or just a muffler?
Oh, just a straight pipe muffler. That was actually before anybody was messing around with tuned pipes, if you can believe that. There was such a time. And I think, Bob, when did you guys start that? Would have been about mid-'80s, late 80s?
85 is when we started the first experiments, because that's when the RC pattern world changed over from the ballistic pattern, where you went out half a mile and turned around, came back at 400 miles an hour and did one maneuver and went out again, to a what they call an arrestee type pattern, in a box. And they had to increase the torque of the motors and fly at a lower speed. And Richie Tower and Dean Pappas were experimenting with what they call second reflected wave tuned pipes. And they kind of accidentally fell into something that would work perfect in stunt. And I was flying, that day was flying RC pattern at the field, and he called me over, and he came across the field, pushed the nose down without touching the throttle, and it governed. And they pulled the nose level, like a top hat, a reverse top hat, and it went back to normal setting. When he pulled the nose up, it boosted, and then he leveled up and went back to its normal RPM without touching the throttle. So he said to me, he says, "Where have you ever wanted that before?" I went, "I don't know." And he said, "How about control line stunt?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." He says, "Well, you suck at pattern, but you're still pretty good at stunt. So you just came out of retirement." And that's when all that development started.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, that's the story.
And Phil, if I may, that's another example of what you were talking about with Dean, how he could talk down when he needed to. All right. Yeah. Right, big brother.
He's an incredible
Have you ever seen
guy.
that before? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story about Dean. Dean's the kind of guy who's living up so far in the ozone, kind of like Howard, the same routine. I always, every time I come up with an idea, if I start to talk to Dean, he would say, "Got it," and then he'd take it about 4 million different directions better than I even thought could possibly go. So one time I said, "Well, I'm going to just work on a project until he can't improve it. There's no possible way he can improve it." All worked up, and I called him up and said, "Now, listen to this." And I got about 10 seconds into explaining it. He goes, "Yeah, I got it. But now you can do this, 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 this." You feel like an amoeba, you know? Very smart guy.
How's Dino doing these days? You run into him anymore?
Talked to him last night. He was coming back from his son's place and his daughter-in-law's place down in Virginia, and he married his wife. I married a girl named Mary Ann, and he wanted one, so he married Mary Ann too. That's exactly how it happened. And they were coming back, and they often call us and chat for an hour while they're traveling. He's doing fine.
That's great.
I got an airplane.
I haven't seen him in a
control
long
line
time.
airplane. I built a control line airplane for him.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get him back into flying.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Yeah,
I never got to see him fly a stunt plane, but boy, I used to love to talk pattern airplanes with him.
He was
And of
really
course,
good.
he speaks stunt while he was speaking pattern at the same time. So
Wow.
and he is the guy who actually started, planted the seed, I guess, in my head that maybe I should be looking at longer tail airplanes. All right. So whatever.
Oh, it looks like Jonathan Karadas came in, and so did John
Yeah.
Stukalak. How you guys doing?
Where'd Howard go?
Howard's there.
I
Okay,
had
he's
to
not
come
on
in.
my screen, but I hope he's still there.
This is such a star-studded group tonight. It's it's a place where you just want to be seen.
Yeah.
I don't want to be seen with any of these guys.
I'm like a groupie, but it's one heck of a group tonight.
Yeah, Robert from Alberta he said his wife looked over his shoulder and said, "Now I know you're old. If these are the guys you spend your time with."
Hey, just tell her they still call me kid. All right.
I'm still 13, Dennis. How old are you?
Just about that. Well, I'm your big brother, so I'm at least 14. So
Yeah. Put a ringmaster in your hand, you're 13 again.
How old are you, Howard?
That's the truth.
79.
Pudding.
Huh?
79.
Okay, you may be the oldest one here. Anybody?
He's a young 70.
I'm older than that.
How old
I'm
are you,
old.
Gordy?
I'm 82.
I'm 82.
I'll be
Hey, Gary, we're the
I'll be
same
darned.
age.
How about that?
Yeah.
well, hey,
About that.
with Gordy when he was born, the Dead Sea, it was only sick.
Yeah.
It's a tough crowd, Gordy.
Oh, this is a
Yeah.
tough
I
crowd.
turn next Monday. I turn 71 next Monday. Such a big deal. I mean, my friends down in Indianapolis, they're throwing a big race in my honor and everything.
Oh
else.
yeah.
That's it. So
You'll have to go and meet that Kiwi guy, Dennis. Scott Lachlan. He crashed yesterday there,
Yeah,
didn't
he
he?
sure did. Boy, that was some crash.
He walked away though, didn't he?
Been in touch with anything happening down there.
The racetrack too.
Yeah.
But he walked
He made
away,
a good
didn't
job of dismantling that car.
It's probably
Is he all right?
$1 shot to heck.
But how about that kid from Israel winning the pole on his first time ever on
Yeah.
an oval? He never raced an oval in his life, and his first time
No.
in a car on an oval, and he took the pole.
Oh, for
Wow.
real?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Robert Schwartzman.
Wow.
About 13 years old, isn't he?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Young and doesn't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
He
Probably
hasn't
never
been
had a
hurt
bad
yet.
crash.
He hasn't been
I'm
hurt
telling-
yet.
Yeah.
The first
Well,
time you crash one really hard and pull some sheet time, things change.
That's a fact, Jack. The
I can tell
arrogance
you
goes
from
away a
experience.
little.
You're absolutely fearless until you crash one time.
Same
And
thing
then
for
by
airplanes.
George, things change. Yeah.
That's
This
a bit
is
like
true.
Stunt.
Bit like
Yeah.
Stunt, isn't that something?
That's it. No, I told you we were on a trip. We flew in and out of Indianapolis, and one of the things this time of year, of course, is the Indy Museum starts, bringing out the old cars and stuff like that. They're all over the airport, and
Wow.
you take a look at some of the old cars. Let me tell you, people were a lot braver back then. All
They're
right?
just
Yeah.
skin, aluminum skin noses. Their feet fell out of them if they hit something.
Skinny little tires,
Oh,
and
my
they have the driver offset towards the wall, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and the roll bar came up almost as high as the driver's head.
yeah.
Almost.
If he bent down, he fit under the roll bar.
Yeah.
His head performed like it was like the the wind fairing for the roll bar, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
slow the car down. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the reason they lost so darn many of them.
yeah. It's
Mm.
And they had alcohol for fuel that you can't see an alcohol fire. And then
It
in the
don't
late
matter.
80s, they discovered if they put 10% gasoline in it, you could actually see the darn fire.
Then you know you're gonna die.
You had an interesting stat on about AJ Foyt in '62. He won 10 of the 13 races that year.
He was
Yeah.
something, Bobby. Hey, Joy, he was a tough rascal, man.
He
That
still
boy-
is.
And
He still
who-
is.
somebody that we know taught him to fly radio control. You know who that was? Then he probably knows.
I don't. I don't.
Jack Sheets.
Is that
I
right?
did
Oh
not
my
know
goodness.
that.
I'll be
Put into
Holy
flight radio
mackerel.
control.
I'll
I'll
be
be
darned.
darned. How
And
about
Danny
that?
Rutherford and Danny Gaius were all radio control flyers too.
Yeah.
And what?
Danny on the gas on guys. He
Danny on
was,
the gas.
man, he was, whatever he stepped into, he raced the Hawaiian drag fuel funny for several years. He was a heck of a motorcycle, super motorcycle racer. And Indianapolis, he was quite good.
He was
Just, anything he got in, he was quick.
Well, how do you become a good racer? You know, you race.
You go
Yeah,
fast.
that's it.
You know, it's
That's
got
it.
wheels, you race. It's got
Like
wings,
Larson.
you race.
Larson
You
races-
air race. You know,
Like
that's how
Larson
you
races
get good
about
at
5
these
days
things.
out of the week. Larson races 5 or 6 days out of the week.
Yep.
Wow.
Wasn't it Bob Hanna was the motorcycle motorcycle cross country guy, and he also raced Mustangs at Reno. Bob Hanna.
Yeah.
He flew Mustangs.
Hanna was a motocross guy, wasn't he?
Motocross. That's right.
Oh,
Motocross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not enduro, motocross. Yeah.
motocross. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a tough son of a gun, but he could take the beating and keep on ticking. That's hard to do.
Well,
BJ
I don't
Ford,
know.
BJ Ford was tough as any human on earth, I think, when racing.
He's
Well,
he's
Joe,
still a
there
pretty
was,
tough
you know,
rascal.
there at VSC when we met the pilot of Rare Bear. I mean,
Oh, John Penny's
yeah.
a cool dude too. There's
like,
no doubt about
Yeah.
that.
holy mackerel.
He's
And
the
he's
real
flying a
deal.
ringmaster, you know?
He's the real deal, man.
He flies
They had
Rare
Montoya.
Bear and he flies a ringmaster. So
They had Montoya down at Joe Knoll one year flying control line.
Well, that'd be neat.
He was
Guy that flew the Rare Bear though, there's a video out now because I just saw it this week of Rare Bear on a test flight and they blew the engine. And there's fire everywhere, and this cat's just cool as a cucumber. He
He just
brings
dead
it on
sticks,
in.
dude. He
Yeah.
dead stick that rascal.
Zero to prop and brought it in like it was a glider, just cool as. I mean, he gets down and they come out and they're shooting stuff on it. He finally just decides to lay the canopy back and crawl out of this thing. It's on fire, dude.
I think
Good
it
grief.
got to glide like a set of keys, you know.
But
It does.
like the space
Like-
shuttle, glide like the space shuttle.
Oh, it don't glide as well as the space shuttle does.
Yeah,
Space shuttle goes a foot forward for every foot down. That thing looked like a falling safe, but he's just cool as a cucumber flying it in. I said, man, you're on fire. How are you so cool?
He wanted to live, Phil.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, we got one more comment from Robert in Alberta. He says, "Take care, guys. I have to get going. This room is a wealth of knowledge. And we'll be back for the next
tell him
one.
to come on back.
Most
Come
of
on
it's
back.
No reason.
Tell
There's
them to
no reason
sign
why
in.
this room can't solve the world's problems. You're a great bunch of guys. Take care. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to share a story. Since, you know, Danny brought up this about ducking under the roll bar. I had a 55 Chevy with 283 and 2.4s, 4-speed and gears, slicks. Anyway, I was racing out the track and one of my friends come over and he says, "What RPM are you shifting that at?" He says, "Sounds like you're turning 10,000. I said, "No," I says, "It's only an 8,000 tack. And when the needle disappears behind the chrome, I grab a gear." Well, he didn't believe me. He says, "I want to go for a ride with you." Well, we lined up against this 44 that had a 327 and 6 deuces on it. And we left the starting line and I hammered second gear, and halfway through second, I heard an explosion. I remember pulling my feet back and ducking my head.
Oh, man.
And a piece of the head bolts on the pressure plate went through my dashboard and up through the headliner. And the face plate of the pressure plate, we had chunks of it, probably 3 to 4 inches in diameter, sitting in the back window.
Holy fuck.
Wow.
No scatter shield?
No, I did after that. I never drove another car with a 4-speed without a scatter shield.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was looking at the tack, and a piece went across his cheek, enough to draw blood, but not to run down his face. And it broke the side window on his side.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you go to the track, at least around here, the NHRA rules back even back in the '60s, if you had a solid lifter car, you had to have a scatter. It was a stick. You had to have a scatter shield.
Well,
Yeah.
this is just out of the drag strip on a Sunday afternoon when it was closed.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't your time.
Gordon, I experienced one of those explosions too, but mine, the whole thing as a unit came right up through and went right out the top, just tore a nice hole about so big in the top and kept going. And after that, I went and decided I better call Mr. Lakewood and ask him to produce one for my Hemi.
Yeah.
It was,
yeah.
I thought if that thing had been 6 inches more to my side, I could have lost a leg.
Hmm.
Well,
That was
same
scary.
here.
Bob's Big Boy Hamburgers, and then we drive up to Irwindale Avenue and drag race up there. And I looked up a guy's car that I didn't know whether he was still alive. But one of my childhood friends, when I say childhood, I mean 17, 18, Vince Mule, M-U-L-E, Mule.
Yeah. Yeah.
55 Chevy. Look that up. And he's still got it, and he's had it since 55.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It is 100% steel body car. And we used to ride in that. It was badass. It was a 10-second car back then. It's probably a 9-second car now.
That's be an 8.5, 9-second car now because they only run 1,000 feet now.
Yeah, big block, the blower.
No, they
He was
still
in
run
the he was
20.
Well, they still run more than 1,000. They run 1320s with everything that's not nitro powered.
Yeah.
They still run
Oh, here everything.
All I know
here
is
everything's
now.
an eighth
All
of a
I
mile
know
or
now
1,000.
is that I got 2 cars with a total of 8 cylinders. All right, so. So I have V8 power. I got 2 cars with a total of 8 cylinders. So.
I got 8 horsepower.
I got a lot of airplanes with no cylinders.
I got 3 airplanes that's got 12 cylinders, y'all.
Let's see.
Yeah. No, Bob. I think I count the magnets. That's why
there you go.
I set up
14.
one of the airplanes. I put a fake exhaust stacks on. I put 7 on a side. I daring somebody to ask me why it has
14
7 on 14
That's good.
exhausts. I was
That's
going to say
good.
1 for each magnet, baby. So
I thought that the 14 that you had 14 power strokes per revolution. That ain't the case. I was talking to Lucian about it. He says you have way more than 14 power strokes per revolution. I don't know what the exact number was, but it was astronomical compared to what I thought it was.
I got 10 cylinders and 3 cars. I think.
What was that, Howard?
I was just calculating this. I have 10 cylinders and 3 cars. Total.
3 cars, 10 cylinders. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 1/3 cylinders each.
Go back to where you were.
Hey, speaking of Alberta way, look who's here.
Yeah, Bob Whitley's here.
Hey guys.
G'day,
Hold
Bob.
on, I gotta kill the TV. So we don't get feedback.
All right. Hey,
There
Mark
we go.
How are you,
Herber.
sir? Good to see you again.
Oh, doing okay. Better all the time. Although a little bit of a hiccup right now. I'm gonna call the doctor and go in and get my chest checked because it feels like something's moving a bit in my rib cage.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
But it's not bothering me too much. So what the hell? Hopefully get out flying models here pretty soon.
We hope.
And we're all
I got
hoping to do
those.
that. The wind calms down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nasty. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of things.
I won't be able to stay on much later here, guys. I got something I got to do. I got to get my doggy out and something I got to do.
Look here, Bob.
Twin airplanes.
That's
This
it.
one has
That's
decided
another way
it's
of
time to
doing
go.
a twin, right?
Build
So-
2 at a time.
Yeah, twin engine. I'll just fly both at once.
That's right.
Right.
CA the wings together.
Oh Lord.
35S.
So I
You
built
guys
up
are getting-
a couple of Acromasters because I'm just too wimpy to handle a real stunner right now.
Awesome.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't care
I
what you
got
fly.
finished
Those,
fuel
15s
tanks for
on
them
that,
and
or
a little
what is
bit of
that?
trim, and they're done. So
Bob,
one of
are
them
those
is
15s or 19s?
those are Enya 15s.
Okay.
Enya.
That's going to be a nice combo.
Bob, I don't
Yeah,
care
it's
what
pretty
you
nose
fly,
heavy,
just
though.
fly.
I'm gonna need a lot of
That's the
tail
important
weight.
thing.
I've got the parts sort of set aside, made the leading edges and trailing edges and whatnot for another one, but I'll fancierize it because it needs a longer tail moment, probably a little bit bigger tail, and I'll put movable flaps on it if I do up a third one. Because if I need tail weight, I may as well make it functional.
Yeah.
Guys, I gotta go. Good to see you all.
Good to see you,
Good to
Bobby.
see you, Bob.
Good to see you, Bob.
Dennis, I'll probably call you for another consult here in a couple of days. So,
All righty.
So I've been
Keep in
busy
touch.
doing some other things too. Like this is today's project.
What is
What is that, bell cranks?
Bunch of bell cranks, yeah.
Terrific.
I still have to
look
put
at
the
there.
inserts. Pardon me?
I
Look at
like
there, that's nice.
the fork there at the end of the bell crank. That's cool.
Yeah, I made some 3-inch ones too a while back. They work great. And what I use is an eyelet on a brass tube, and there's a 440 bolt holding the tube in place, and it works
Very
slick as
neat.
can be.
Very
And
neat.
then I've got threaded 440 inserts to screw in for ball joints. So, and I use those RC car ball joints too that are so smooth. So it's a bunch of work making these suckers, but they sure do work good.
Yeah. Very nice.
And what else I've been doing is making up some end caps for fuel tanks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is what they look like coming out of the press before I trim them. And then I've got a form block I've got made up for standard tanks, 4 ounce and up to 8 ounce. I got a groove in it, so when I do a folded seam, I can press it down in and have a flat back on my tank. When I
That's
solder.
very nice. I
So
never
you
thought
have a
of that.
folded seam with the fold internal to the tank then? Is that how that
Yeah.
works? Okay.
Yeah. And that leaves a flat back for a little bit more clearance, and especially on a profile for mounting.
Yeah.
That's very neat, Bob.
That's
I hadn't thought of
excellent.
that.
Beautiful stuff.
And I'm just in the process of making end cap molds for making 2 ounce tanks for those Acromasters. So,
nice.
The factory tanks, I've only got one kicking around anyway, and they're, they used to make them so idiotically where you got your fuel pickup hitting straight out the end of the tank, so it's bunting right into your cylinder head.
Yeah.
Yeah, more I think, the more I hear, it sounds like a lot of the tanks out there, they're more like tank kits. You buy one so you can take it apart and fix it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way I
But
mold,
keep in mind, you still got to patch the holes.
the way I
Oh,
mold
look
the
at
end
that.
caps is I just made up a die, and then I've got some tape on this. I don't normally have that. I was just making a new one, and I just put the blank in and press it in the vise or my hydraulic press or whatever. And then I put a couple of holes in because it's such a tight fit, you can't get it out. So I put some holes in there so I can poke it out.
Is that
It
an
was easy to-
aluminum die or what is that?
Yeah, aluminum.
Okay,
I just made
that's
it
all it
out of
takes.
two.
Okay.
I just made it out of 2 plates. Stuck them together. If I have to, I can take it apart and get the piece out if I need to, or change things.
Very nice.
So it works slick as can be.
Have you been doing any flying, Bob?
No, partially just haven't really been up to it yet, and partially now that I'm finally feeling like it, we've just had crappy weather.
Amen.
Yeah.
Join the crowd, brother.
You
That
guys have
seems
been
to
having
be-
a lot of
I haven't heard
tornadoes
of anybody
in the
who's
US.
been able to do any flying here. I don't know.
No.
Is that?
It's been the worst year ever for flying.
Yeah.
All the time.
I went flying with Tommy and Buddy and the whole crowd. I mean, actually the whole crowd showed up. Well, except for one guy Saturday up at Brian's place in Eden. And we had a beautiful morning. Everybody got in one flight. It was great. And then the wind came up. And I mean, when it came up, it came up. But we got there and it was raining when we got there. And we said, well, we're going to try to fly anyway. The sky parted and the weather was absolutely gorgeous for about an hour. And everybody got one flight. Some of them got 3 flights in, but the other 2 were in wind.
Yeah. Something else I've been doing to pass the time is and puttering is just gathering together hardware packages for all the kits or scratch built ones that I want to build in the future. So I've been focusing on like my Sea Fury and whatnot, and just putting
Yeah.
together every odds and end that I might need, fabricating a few things for it. And on that plane, I made drawings, traced out drawings of all of the laser cut parts, since Walt isn't in the game anymore to get more of them. And if I need
Yeah.
to do a repair, at least I've got the parts laid out.
Yeah, don't forget me on that.
Yeah, I had a PDF done of everything. So,
Good deal. Good deal.
and
I don't know what it is about that
airplane
airplane,
for a
but
while because I guess our post office is going on strike.
Oh,
oh
great.
Lord, again?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
again?
well, they were forced back by the government before Christmas there, or around Christmas. So this is the time expired on that.
Oh boy.
So if both parties to get their crap together and actually communicate.
By the time they get their feces combined, it'll be time for Christmas again.
Yeah.
Flight sensor on propellers, and the post office can't read a compass because they went north out of here instead of west, and they stayed up north for a week.
Oh.
Yeah, power went out here for about a minute.
And we lost it for 3 hours.
Oh, really?
And then it took 5 minutes for everything to come back on and reconnect and all that stuff. We're getting some storms here and some hail.
Yeah,
Now?
We were here about 4:30, 4:15.
Oh, so we're getting what you had back then.
It was a mean little rascal.
Mm-hmm.
It was quick. It was quick. It wasn't 35, 40 minutes long, but it was mean.
What is with all these crazy storms, man? I don't remember a year like
There've
this.
been storms off since day one.
Global warming. That was
I don't
just
know
a
what
little
it is,
one.
but I tell you, it's nasty.
That just a little part went through, and the bigger stuff is behind it.
We got more coming probably this night. That one that came here was 65,000 foot tall on FlightAware. That's pretty good size. 65,000 is getting up.
65,000 feet. That is a big storm.
That's a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Bob, what did I miss?
Nothing.
Nothing?
You missed all the assignments. So
Oh.
Yeah.
that's all right. We'll
You don't want to
email them
grade
to you.
anyhow.
I still want to see Mark Gerber's progress if he's made any on the Bearcat.
We haven't seen that yet.
No.
Okay, I'm ready this time, I think.
All right.
So this is where I was Friday. I had the one room mold for forming the side pieces. And then
that's for the fuselage?
Yeah, the tail.
Oh, it's at the tail end. Okay.
We got broken off, and then here's the other. I finished the other one today. So
How do
tomorrow
you carve that?
All kinds of ways.
Just carving knife, or
is that maple?
No, it's basswood.
Basswood, okay.
Okay, well that makes it a little easier.
I use the belt sander I've got. I use the Fordham tool I've got. I use a bunch of sanding blocks. I use some chisels.
A lot of chisels, apparently.
Depending where I am and what I'm trying to do.
I don't understand the orientation of the fuselage of that.
What's that, Sparky?
I don't understand the orientation of how that goes on the airplane.
How's that?
Like that.
There's the tail.
And where's the stab go, on top there?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's that square thing here. This is where it's cut out for the rudder. And the stab fits up here. So these are about 1/2 inch oversized all around. So after I get the balsa molded, then I'll trim the resulting piece down to the size that I need for the airplane. So that's where I am.
Wow.
Molding tomorrow.
All right.
I guess I had no idea there was that much transition in that area of the fuselage. I guess I always thought it was all kind of conical or, straight sections and all that, but
Well,
and it had a lot of 3D shaping in it. So.
I bulged it out a little bit more to get
Mhm.
more clearance for the trossel rudder mechanism.
Mm.
You still going to have to mate up to what you already got, though.
Yeah, it will. But let me show you again. The rudder mechanism goes in about right here. So that's why these are bulged out a little bit here.
So that's the fuselage where your mouse is, and back behind that is the rudder area.
Well, here's the rudder area here.
Right, okay. It doesn't stick out behind that, it sits on top of that.
Are you a half inch too wide right there, inch too wide, basically right now?
Yeah.
At least.
At least an inch wide, I would think.
Yeah, I got it marked on the back here, half an inch, and another half an inch up here in the front. I didn't mark the top and the bottom. But anyway, that's why I bulged this out a little bit more.
Make room.
To get a little more space in there for the rudder mechanism.
Put you down, buddy. I'm gonna put you down.
How are you going to brace that
There you
in
go.
the fuselage?
What's that, Sparky?
And you
My
grab
legs hurt.
your existing sides, how are you going to brace that in the fuselage?
Well, it's going to be glued
With a butt
front,
joint.
the front, the bottom, the rear. Let me see if I can find the construction diagram. Here we go. So I'm going to trim this down here so this is flat. And then I'm going to glue, it'll be glued on this side and up around here where the bulkhead is. And then there's you can't see it very well, but there's another bulkhead down in here. And it'll be glued down there. And then the upper part, where the rudder fits in, it's kind of a notch and it glues in there as well.
What I'm getting at is, how are you just going to butt join it to the former or what?
I'm going to put a little flange in here. Made out of balsa wood.
1/8 inch wide to glue to.
Yeah, I'll make it a triangle piece, but it'll be just enough to make sure I got a good joint with the.
Sure.
I might put a little fabric over it too. I'll have to see.
Make sure you put some 1/2 ounce fiberglass over the outside of that. It'll keep it from cracking, because that's a lot of stress back there from working, and it'll end up with a fracture between the two pieces if it just goes bulkhead.
Mark, where's the push rod that works the rudder mechanism?
This little white thing here.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
It's not hooked to anything right now. I took the slider tray out of here, or the slider out of the tray here.
Yeah.
Till I get everything put back together, and I'll put it back in and readjust it. So.
Do you have any drawings on that rudder slider mechanism, Mark?
What's that?
Are there any drawings available for that and details on that rudder mechanism?
Yeah. You want to know where?
That'd be helpful.
Keith Trossel. It's Keith Trossel's invention.
Okay, I'll drop Keith a note.
And he refined it quite a bit, but it's in Stunt News 2007. I can't remember which issue. It might be the April, May. It's one of the 2007.
Okay,
he's got
I'll look up there too.
He's got like a 4 or 5 page article.
To be adaptable to the sea theory.
Oh yeah,
absolutely would.
Oh, yeah, it'll do it.
He shows you different mechanisms for degrees. That boy's a genius on that.
But the Stunt News is on the Pampa website.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'll look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just my neighbor.
It's one of the 2007 issues. I don't remember which one right now, but.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Really cool mechanism.
It is.
The Mark, do you make that so you can change the actuating plate, or are you at the point where you can you just basically just use the one design, one plate design?
Well,
Or
if
how's that work?
you read Keith's article, he made like 30 different
Yeah.
cams sliders in that tray.
Yeah,
And he came out with the
from
one
talking
that
to Keith,
that
it
worked the
sounded like
best.
he quickly narrowed it down to 29 of them that didn't work as
Well,
well.
I carefully took a picture of the one that he had in his Bearcat in his basement, and that's the one I copied
Mm-hmm.
from my first Bearcat, and it seemed to work really well.
Yeah, it
So
did.
I didn't get far enough where I was trying to make any changes to it, but I didn't see any dramatic problems that I was going to have to address. So anyway, I'm benefiting from all of Keith's work.
Mark's first one flew very solid. I mean, it looked really good through everything.
It did. It was fabulous. So,
It sounded good too.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that tiger was growling. That was nice.
Got it.
It just wasn't mine. It was his.
That was the only problem it had. It
That's
was
the only
going
problem
home to his house instead of
That's
mine.
exactly right. That was an awesome airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go away. But Phil, can you PM me through Stunt Hangar your contact info?
I think so. I think so. I can give it a try.
Yeah, just send me a PM message on Stunt Hangar.
Okay, I'll give it a try, Bob.
Okay, doke. You guys take care. Good talking to you.
All right.
Good
See you,
take
Bob.
care,
Hey, Bob.
Bob, take
Good
care of
luck with it.
yourself.
Good luck, bud. Hey, Steve, did you do the training with
Good night, baby.
Karen Barnes a couple of weeks ago? I sent you an email, but I didn't get anything back.
I did. We missed you. I thought she had sent you the link, but if not, we can try again.
Okay. What I did was I sent you an email just to your personal address that she had. She sent
I
it
got
on to
it.
me.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything more. So yeah. So what's missing? I need a link, don't I, to get into you?
Well, I got to set up a Zoom meeting and send you the link, which I can do. See, it's morning for you, afternoon for me. It's morning for you the next day.
And yesterday instead of today.
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're tomorrow.
We're a day ahead.
Yeah, Karen and I did it, went through it on Saturday, which for her was Sunday morning.
Correct. Yeah.
Does that work for you, or is there a better day?
No, Sunday morning's good. Yep.
Okay, I'll set it up.
It's
and
hailing
send
now.
it to you. Huh?
It's hailing now. I can hear it.
Yeah, we had some hail here, so it's headed your way. And I
Don't
think
take
it's
your
done.
I-beam airplanes outside, Sparky.
No.
I think it's done here, but yeah, it's not too big though, so we're okay.
Frozen water coming from the sky.
Yep.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Well, it's that time. I'm going to turn it over to Gary and say goodnight. He's going to run this thing till the end. He did a good job on closing out the meeting, by the way, Gary.
Thank you.
I think
Okay.
I'll bail out, guys. It's been like a 3-ring circus without a ringmaster here at the moment, so I better get moving.
All right, Gary's now your host. Good night.
Good night, Bob.
Sparky.
See you, Sparky. See you guys. Bye.
Take care, Jonathan. Good to see you, buddy.
Make
Yeah,
sure to
good
shut
to
off
see
the
you.
YouTube, Gary.
Yeah. All right.
All right. See ya.
Joe's still there. There's a ringmaster.
Yes. The master ringmaster. Master of the ring.
Master of the ringmaster. Yes.
St. Louis got a little mean storm over here right now. It's 55,000 foot high and got some hail in it.
Yeah.
For North
Yep.
St. Louis is where it is right now.
Yeah, I had some hail here and the power went out for a minute.
55,000. You got more coming. You're not done yet.
No, I saw that. I was watching the
You got
radar,
more coming.
and that was just a little piece that went through.
You're gonna have it most of the night, partner.
And we're gonna
There's
have
tornadoes involved down there south of you.
Yeah, it was a little
Listen.
piece at the in front of that main park, which was in Jeff City then, and now it's coming my way. And it's gonna hit here at about 10:30 my
It might
time.
go on for a while, too.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a-
And
that
there's
whole-
another
that whole-
and there's another batch behind that.
It's
Guys,
55,000 foot all the way down south. That's a
pretty
real
you
long
guys are
nasty.
braver.
down to Fort Smith, all the way south of Fort Smith. There's rotation and 50,000 foot walk. That's a massive one right there. You know?
You're
Wow,
just
I'm looking at
you're
the
just
radar
about
here.
out of it now in
Yeah, we're out.
Tulsa.
Danny,
We are out.
Danny, this is why I live in the north.
You
I
guys,
live
you
in the
guys
north
see
part
that?
of the
Look at all the
south,
red
the
on there.
northern part of the south.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty looking.
I don't like that crazy weather. I mean, we get some, but not like they get.
On your way, you'll get your share. It's moving east.
Oh, yeah, it's moving east, but we hope we don't get much of it. I hope we don't get the worst of it.
I guess you're close enough to the ocean to temper that some, probably, but
Well, and we're close to the mountains, so most of the time the
Like
mountains
there's
break it
storms
up.
all the
It
way to
goes north
Kansas
and
City that are still heading your
splits and
way.
goes around us.
that's right. All the way down to Little Rock. That
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was-
From
It's
Kansas
covering,
City
it's,
to Little
it's,
Rock.
It's
Oh,
covering
wait.
most of the
St.
state.
Louis to Little Rock.
Yeah,
There's tornado warnings down by Farmington.
That's right.
yeah.
God,
Oh
that's a
man,
huge
they've been
storm.
hit. They've been hit
Oh,
a lot this spring. Farmington's been bad.
yeah.
My wife's aunt lives in Farmington, but they've been
Wow.
lucky.
Wow, I'm telling you.
Howard could be out flying model airplanes. It's still sunshine in there, probably.
Still sun shining. Let's see what direction's the wind blowing.
Yeah,
It's blowing
yeah,
over.
I don't see anything going on out there.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
all
let's see. I'm looking at my my forecast, and it looks like whatever you guys had right now, looks like we're gonna get it starting 9 o'clock in the morning. So
probably
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, it'll keep
Maybe it'll
heading your
weaken.
way.
Maybe it'll weaken overnight.
Hopefully. Where are you, Howard? What part of are you
Olympia.
in? You're in Olympia?
Yeah, we're just outside it in the sticks.
Oh yeah, so you still got some rain.
you're in suburban British Columbia, right? Oh,
Yeah, pretty much.
okay.
He lives in a nice area, it looks like to me. I looked him, I scooped him up and looked at him.
Oh yeah.
What do you call
Yeah.
that? When you search him out?
Oh man, there's a big old mess all the way from Canada down through Minneapolis, St. Louis, and into Arkansas.
All the way down to Fort Smith, south of Fort Smith, actually.
All the way down to Arkansas. Ooh,
Yeah, just
It
that'll
ain't-
get us
through,
through one then.
It's not but 60 nautical miles wide, but it's a long one.
long, yeah, real long.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
well-
rotation in it and hail and stuff. It's a
Yeah, I'll probably lose power again later on. Hadn't
Hey,
been too
Be
reliable.
lucky if
here.
that's all you lose.
Yeah.
You got
I like my power.
Oh
Look,
man, it's
I pay
really
my
nasty.
utility bills. I want that electricity and water.
Yeah, really nasty out in St. Joseph and coming into Kansas City. That's another line.
Triple's going to be getting it here in a minute. Then
Yep. Tribble's going to get it.
Hey, has anybody heard from Mark lately?
Which Mark?
The pilot.
Mark Weiss,
No, Mark.
Weapon.
Lumen.
Lumen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark Lumen.
Mark Lumen.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was going to have surgery at the Worlds. He was getting ready to have a surgery.
That's all been way long gone. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
But did
heard
he-
from him.
Recovering 4K.
Is he doing all right?
Last I talked to him,
Good.
Oh, good.
Good. I haven't talked to him or heard anything about what's going on, and he's one of those people that just, I just like him.
He's a good
wish him
lad.
well.
He's
I
a
wish
good
him
lad.
well. He
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, he was at your contest last year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I met him.
Tribble and Kevin came down to El Dorado 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I wish I would have known about that one. I didn't realize they had a spring as well as a
They got
fall.
two. Yeah, they do. That was 25 pilots flew on Sunday, dude. Think about
Wow.
it. That's a
That's
huge
awesome.
test for District 8.
That's a
Yeah.
great turnout.
25 is a big number.
Good.
I'm thinking about going to Sugar Grove at the end of August.
I don't know Sugar Grove.
It's just outside of Chicago. It's the Midwest Regionals.
Okay.
Your power
Steve,
looks
where-
like it's playing games with you, Steve.
Steve,
Again,
where are you on your airplane?
it's ready to test fly.
Good
Oh.
show.
Wow.
Yeah, ready to test fly. I gotta drag it in here and program the speed controller and the timer, but other than that, it's ready to go. I still want to put one coat of clear on it because it's kind of heavy, but I think it needs at least one coat of clear. But it's here at my house now.
Can you show it?
What?
Yeah,
What
I can.
ESCN? What
Let me see
ESCN
it,
timer are you running?
A Phoenix Ice Light and Hubin FM
You'll
9.
be all right. You'll be all right.
Yeah,
Something to
it's
look into.
28, 26, 8 something. I'm using a 5-cell battery.
Something to look into. If the Human doesn't work for you, decide you want to try to step up just a little bit, look into a climb and dive. They are impressive.
Yeah,
money, they are very
I've heard
impressive.
that. I am absolutely no good at soldering, though. I'll have to get my
You got enough friends. One of us can put the full thing together for you.
yeah.
Or a P.
Junior can put it together for me.
It takes about 20 minutes. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Then you program the thing and you're flying along and you take your handle and you go 3 times and the motor quits.
Huh.
This
Interesting.
Really?
thing
I
is
didn't know
cool.
that.
All
This
right.
thing
Well,
is
I'm going to
cool.
put the I'm going to put that's the Spectre, and I just finished replacing the timer, so I will
That's
take
sharp
that
little
out to
airplane.
the garage, and I will get the Crossfire. I'll be back.
A sharp looking airplane there.
Sparky
Phil,
did
that's
that for me.
Yeah. That
He did a nice
Sparky
job.
he did some great videos on repairing that. It was
Yes,
a
he did.
crash
Yeah.
victim.
I like the nose that he did, instead of having it straight out, he ducked it down. I thought that
Yeah.
looked cool.
Now, I agree with Phil about building that climb and dive.
Yeah.
And I did. My experience is pretty much like John Paris described it. He got all the parts out of the bag, and he started, looking at instructions and fitting things together, and then he got his soldering iron hot, and it's like he hadn't even intended at that time to build the timer. He ended up, he took it out of the bag, and 15, 20 minutes later he had a timer. So
Yeah, it's not, they did an impeccable
it's a
job of
beautifully
designing
done
this thing.
kit.
It is.
My biggest hang up on it is I had just nipping off the wire ends after soldering, getting them
Yeah.
nice and close and stuff like that. So
Uh-huh.
and I ended
Now
up using a
my
set of
thing was
nail
I didn't want
clippers
to leave
on it.
that post sticking out, the one you're supposed to touch.
Yeah,
I
that one
wanted to
right
put
there.
I wanted to put a wire on it, but have that thing somewhere where I can push a button.
Mm.
I don't like the timer showing. I don't know why, but I don't like the electronics showing. I built a profile, put everything on the side of the plane, and then I built a cover to go over it where it snaps on the side of the airplane to cover it. And I haven't flown that one yet, but I'm hoping soon. Another product of my not having a paint shop.
Mm.
Being too lazy to build one.
Comforts me.
My electrons comfort me.
Man.
I at VSC this year, it was kind of a chill day, and I ended up wearing, long pants and a sweatshirt all the time, or hoodie. And I was also launching. I did a lot of launching. I was flying, with Keith Trossel, and his Orwick 64 or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah,
Upright
that thing
engine, the
barks.
exhaust right in the launcher's face, right?
Yeah.
And then I was launching Jim Lee's super cinch with the Fox 29 on it, exhaust upright, rolling right in my face. And
Blowing right in your
I
face.
noticed a couple of days into it, I said, gee, these clothes, they smell like fuel, you know, and I decided right then, I had two sets of pants that were the same actually, and I intended on wearing them both. I wore the same set to the field every day, and after in the evenings I changed into the other ones as they became my dress pants, even though they weren't dressed, but you know.
Yeah.
And here it is, what, 3 months later, I am still trying to get the smell out of those pants and out of that hoodie.
They got this product called Shout.
Yeah.
Shout.
Good
We
stuff.
got Colleen, we got stock in Shout. She
Well,
shouts.
that's like I thought that was like dishwashing liquid or
No,
something like
it's
that.
stock
No,
remover and stuff.
no. Dishwashing liquid is
Dawn.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Well,
Shout.
they have
What do
this-
you do? You spray it, put it on, or is it
Yeah.
what you use to wash, or do you
Yes.
like
Well, she
spray
sprays
it on or something?
Spot sprays.
Spray it on. Yeah. Spray it on the spots.
Shout it out.
Shout it
Dennis,
out.
My
Yeah.
my wife has this washer and dryer now. The old washer crapped out last year, and for her birthday, we got her this brand new washer. It's one of
you're
Oh,
these
so she
technical-
doesn't have to
You're
use the
so
washboard anymore?
Oh,
and the rocks?
no, that washboard. I rang my knuckles on it too many times. Had to get rid
They
of it.
play music on that
So I
now.
bought her a dryer. We got her a dryer to match. Then you had to get the things that they set on to put them upright so they're up high enough. You don't have to bend over to get
yeah,
in
you
because
got to
they're
get
front
those.
loaders.
You got to get
The
those
only thing is they're so
platforms.
high tech, I can't figure out how to use either one of them. But I
That'd be a
found
good
the
thing.
answer. I found the answer to getting the smell out of your clothes. It's called a laundromat.
Vinegar.
A laundromat.
Vinegar.
My daughter works for a laundry, and I just have her take my stuff to the laundry and just handle it. Smells funny. Handle it.
Yeah.
And they do.
All I know is
you,
that I never have that kind of trouble with with ozone in my clothes or anything like
I
that.
know
It
it.
just doesn't bother it the same.
I know it. We can
No,
leave the
not at
field and
all.
go to the restaurant, and nobody comes up to you. You smell funny.
Nope. Nope.
Well, that's it. That's the other reason we all hang out together is that we can't notice each other's smell, right? So
There's something wrong with every one of us. I promise you.
Yeah.
Well, I
All
can't.
right,
I don't know.
Gary, you want to make me big? I'll show it off.
all right.
Let's see it.
All right.
Let's see here.
It's a Thunderbird paint job.
Yeah. I had to do
Tommy
that.
Luciano kind of had one like
There
that.
we go.
Eric.
Oh,
Luciano's
nice.
And of course, I
Man,
advertised Stunt Hangar and Wix.
All right.
You had to.
And then I made it in the Stunt Hangar Skunk Works. So there's
I
Wow.
like that.
That's cool.
Is that a
That
hollow
is
rudder
cool.
to let the electrons
Yeah.
out?
yep,
Yep.
at the back, yeah, the fuselage is
Hollow.
clear through.
Let it out. Let them out.
Yep.
Yeah. Let the heat out.
Well
That is
done.
neat.
All I got to say is well done.
It's a
That is
20
nice.
footer.
That's a nice one.
When did you start
Yeah.
that, Steve?
A year and a half ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah.
Me
Steve,
too.
I can't give you any trouble. I started mine when the plans were first available. Bob announced he was going to start selling the plans, and I ordered them early. And I have one of those downstairs that is still in pieces. All the
Yeah.
units are built, but it's not put together yet.
Well, and I mean, it was over at Bob's shop. So
Yeah.
I only worked on it, 1 or 2 days a week and only for, 4 hours at a time. So
I'm lucky if I get 30 minutes twice a week.
yeah, I sure ain't like Bob with his,
No,
8 to
Bob
10 hour
Bob lives and
sessions.
breathes that shop.
Right. But he
But
was
I got
very,
too many things
he
I
was
can
very generous with his tools, and I learned a lot from him. He told me how to do things, and of course I didn't always execute.
You
But
didn't
Did he do a
comply.
whole lot of this?
You didn't comply.
I did not comply always, but
Well, wait
yeah,
a minute. Sparky has something to say about that. I asked him once. I said, "What do you think of Steve's execution?" He said, "I think it'd be a good idea." So
In favor of it.
yeah. Oh,
good.
he's
That's good.
happy. He's
Thanks,
happy I got it out of his shop, though.
yeah,
Now
that's
he
good.
doesn't have to work around it. But it's going to go back. Still got to do gear doors and hopefully a coat of clear, but thinking about hopefully flying it Friday just to see how it
He said
is.
he's bringing two airplanes to Brodax to trim out.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the
Steve,
other one?
did you put a kill plug or a kill switch in that system?
Yeah, it's on the side there. It's
You can see it right there.
Is
yeah,
that
you
what
can
we're
see it
looking
right
at here?
there.
Okay.
It's a arming plug.
Is
And
that
then
the MPI thing?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all Dean's connectors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Cool.
and then I got the button for the get everything started.
Yeah.
And then there's I got the hole in the nose there
Yeah.
for the
good.
electronics, and everything's open through the fuselage all the way
That's
back.
nice. That's cool.
So
The bell crank
hopefully
will stay nice and warm and won't lock up.
Trouble is, you
Yeah.
get castor all over the inside of the fuselage.
That's right.
no castor oil.
Get ozone inside there.
Well, the heated air's going to come in cold, going to get heated up. He'll get extra thrust out of that.
That's right, and it keeps the bell crank warm and lubricated.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
As long as the air doesn't divert through the lead out opening in the wingtip, he'll be all right. So
Yeah.
It's getting deep
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, it is.
Did you start the lead out position at what the plan said, Steve, or did you do something else?
It's pretty far forward right now. I don't remember exactly what's on the plans, but right now I got it all the way forward,
I see.
and I'll probably
you
be
hung it?
moving it back, but
Have you
Well,
hung it, Steve?
Do the math.
do the math. Math is hard.
Line 3 is easy.
Did
Is
you?
it still available to download, or is that
I think
that
so.
all
I
go
think
to
it's
seed
on.
here?
I think it's on Stunt Hangar.
Still there?
What's
Okay.
that?
Line
What are
3.
you talking? What's line 3?
That was the thing.
Bob Reeves wrote that up.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It basically you plug in all the parameters and it would give you a starting point for your lead out position.
You have to know the weight of the airplane, how fast you go in the line.
Yeah, line
Yeah.
length, line size. I think it factored in line diameter and
Just
stuff
hang it
like
up by the
that.
lead and make it go 2 degrees nose down and go fly
Yeah.
that damn thing.
That's
I
what
just
I
take it-
do.
2
I
degrees
just take it
nose
3
down
degrees.
after hanging it. Okay.
That's
I just
what
take
I
it
do.
3 degrees
I know
back
I ran
from
a
the-
bunch of things through it, and I basically concluded that it would tell you to put your lead outs an inch behind the CG.
That's awful close.
Yeah,
You-
which
different
from a
airplane.
starting standpoint, at least, is not.
That's
You
right.
will not crash the airplane there.
It
All
won't
right,
change.
and
Yeah,
you'll end up
definitely don't
moving
want to do that.
To
Yeah.
me, they need to bench trim it and get the CG where the CG ought to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not nose
Yeah.
heavy, not tail heavy. When I had that,
It's
when COVID was on my shoulder surgery and PIC lines and I couldn't go nowhere, I brought every airplane in from the garage and put it in the living room and I measured stuff. And this is
Mhm.
something strange that everybody else knew it except for me. These airplanes are stuff I've won with all over the country. And if it had an 18% tail, guess where the damn CG was? 18% on the wing. If you had a
Mhm.
23% tail, guess what the CG was? 23%. Except
how
for
about that?
and I never knew none of this, but that's the way I like to fly them. And there's something
Yeah.
to that. Howard could probably tell me why. I
No.
don't know why.
Couldn't tell you.
It works. It works.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Steve, I like your airplane, but please don't say math is hard. You're a judge.
Hey, judges never
Well,
have to do any math.
Some
We
math,
don't have to add
some
it up.
math is hard.
That
We
gets
don't have to
added
add
up.
it up.
That's
We
so
just have to
good.
mark it
First,
down.
Subtracting is easy.
2.68, who do we appreciate? 27, dude.
You know, I've gotten where I look at that. I kind of, when I'm thinking about judging, I look at that. I kind of see that scale in my head, and you start
Yeah.
out in the middle, and you go up or you go down.
Oh, you never
But I
go
don't
up.
always
You
go
always go
forward.
down. They always
I don't
start at
always go
40.
forward.
They start at
You start
40.
at 40. You can start at 40, but
Big Art said you start in the middle. I don't like that. I do. Everybody gets a 40. And they got to
Everybody
screw
gets a
up.
40 until they start making mistakes. That's right.
Screwing up.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. But to each
I
I've
judge
never
a lot of
seen-
flights where I started 40 and after one corner I'm down to 26.
Oh,
Second
no.
corner it might be at 24 or 27, you know, but you make a pretty quick.
That's the trouble with the
you make a pretty
horizontal
good
length. There's
jump.
so many places to make mistakes that you have
Oh
not
my
much
God.
score left by the time you're done.
You know,
Yeah, that horizontal square eights, man. There's so many
intermediate,
places.
he might owe you money before he gets done.
yeah. There's only as much many times as I've judged. There's only one time that I've ever started at 40 and didn't go anywhere. Joe did a triangle. No, it was hourglass at Brodak.
Oh my.
And I just said, wow. And I looked at Sparky and I said, I didn't see anything wrong. He said, I didn't either. I said, by George, I'm going to give it to him. That's the only one I've ever given, but that was the prettiest hourglass I've ever seen. And he was dancing the whole time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to help it a little. But an hourglass is, I like the hourglass. That's the best maneuver of all, I think. That's a trim.
That was the hardest maneuver for me
You
to
got to
learn.
have a trimmed airplane to do a good hourglass. You have to have a trimmed airplane to do an hourglass.
I tore up more airplanes learning the hourglass than all the rest of them put together. No joke.
Yeah.
So Joe, when you fly the hourglass, do you typically have to take a little bit of a step back or no?
If everything's right, I don't. But sometimes if the wind's blowing, I don't move during the first corner. I'll turn up, then I'll back up as I'm going up to keep my energy. Then you stop and go bam. And as it flies across the top, take a step forward and give it down again. And then take a couple steps on the down line.
That's what Joe does that I have not been able to figure out is moving toward the airplane instead of back.
If you're flying Howard's airplane, it slows down for you. It's even better. But it does give it a little more time to slow down. And a fast airplane doesn't turn as good as a slow airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Need a lot of thrust, but slow speed.
If everything's right on 3 mile an hour wind, just stand there and fly your airplane. That's the best. But in the wind, I help mine. I'm probably not right doing it, but I help them in the wind.
Oh, you do.
Son, you do just right. I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard to
watched
judge
you many
Joe.
times, and you do it really nice.
It's hard to judge Joe because I would rather watch him than the airplane.
Well, I have the same problem, but
that's how you get a good hourglass. Walk around when they watch you instead of the airplane.
The second time he flew, I took my camera out and I turned it to movie, and I'm sitting there watching, and I think I'm watching the airplane, and I got Joe on camera.
There you go.
I didn't get it. I was watching the airplane and not the camera, and I missed Joe. But anyway, I tried.
Stunt's hard. Howard, we was in a conversation with Howard one time, and I just listened. I didn't know nothing. This probably 2012 or 13, and somebody was fussing about something. Scores weren't good enough, and Howard said, "If you want a better score, fly better."
Yeah.
Truer words were never spoken.
That's brilliant right there. That's fact.
It was.
What, you got to fly better? What the hell?
You got to fly better to get a better score. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Richard Oliver says, "Fly so good that they can't deny you."
Yeah,
that's true too.
That's hard. I wish I could.
Tom Looper always told me perfection is in the bottom of a gallon of fuel, but we don't know which gallon, so we keep burning them up trying to find the right one.
The trick to that is somebody's got to tell you what you're doing wrong before you can fix it. What you see,
well, we've always
different thing.
we've always picked each other's patterns apart.
That's
I
a
guess
good-
that's how I got to be a decent judge. Is I've watched Tommy for 48 years, 49 years now, and he's always been quite a good flyer. So if you're going to pick his stuff, you better not tell him he's screwing something up and have two other guys saying, "No, you're doing that right." He just don't know what he's looking at. You better not do that because he won't listen to you next time. But I don't blame him. But I've always had Tommy to tell me, you got to get it where you can tell what you're doing before I'm going to try to judge you.
Yeah.
But between Tom Looper and one other fella, I'd still be flying around in circles if it weren't for them.
Looper's a good stick.
Looper's a good stick. So was Bob Galley. Bob got me to do my first outside loop, and that's what got me into flying stunt. Then Tommy took over from there, and because Bob got transferred out of Winston, he worked for AT&T, and Bob's having a rough time right now. So I'm kind of hoping the old boy's doing well, but
I hope he does.
he's one of the. If I were to say who got me started in stunt, I don't know if it would. I don't think it would be Tommy that got me started. I think I'd have to say Bob Galley, but Tommy has sure brought me the rest of the way.
He's a good lad.
He is. Tommy's good people.
He is. I think if you really want to learn how to fly, you need to get your circle set up with the markers every eighth of a lap and the board that's 2 foot by 2 foot. Get it laser cut, put them in there. Boy, when you gotta look at something beside the airplane to fly good. You got to have in the background to see to help you fly. Sometimes you got to use your center of your chest, but there's something out there. Even if the judges can see it, if you hit it, you hit it, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, I've been working on that, changing my focus.
That's it.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of cones we set up now, and I worked on 3 stanchions that have 4 foot, 6 foot, and 10 foot marked. And the trouble is getting all this stuff to the field.
Yeah,
because I've gone from driving a pickup truck to driving a little Ford C-Max, which is not as long as the pickup truck was.
Yeah, you don't have room left for planes.
Well,
it's not have a dedicated field with all those markers set up.
Oh, you can't leave the stuff at the field. Somebody will walk off with it.
Right.
No, we couldn't either here. Public park.
You know.
We got we go out there and set it up, but with the advent of electric airplanes, I can put the airplane in the back seat of the pickup and I still have to drive the truck, but at least I can get it all out there and get it home. But we go out there and we've got flags, for wind.
Sure.
And we got these things set up for 4, 6, and 10 feet. And everything below 4 is red because you're going to tear something up. And then it's pretty slick. It's
yeah, Howard was trying to say something here a minute ago.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You can get 2 by 2 foot coroplast boards from Amazon pretty cheap.
That's right.
I've got those around the circle.
That's what we used.
Yeah.
And just put them up.
Yeah, you get for FAI because if you haven't seen them before, you don't really notice them.
That's when I started flying the best. Is when we set up for the team trials, and we had those set up all summer. And I played with those. It takes a good airplane to fly FAI pattern. It takes a really good airplane.
It's got to turn. I was stunned how well Howard's impact, how quickly it turns, and how much it slows down on the downline. I mean, that was just a real eye-opening wow moment. And golly, that thing, I mean, you can see it slow down and you can hear it slow down. It's amazing. And then Howard says, and here's your cutoff turn. He does a tight loop and the motor quits and he does an FAI landing. It's impressive. I was right tickled.
There's a lot
Howard is a pretty good stick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of those planes at the Worlds, and man, they really had some. I can't think of the right term. Hard control.
yeah.
on the motors. I mean, you could hear it.
Yeah.
They were working hard.
Some sound like they were slamming.
Yeah.
Not just switching, but slamming.
Seemed like to me that ones that worked the best, you didn't hear all that. It was more
Yeah,
subtle.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
More subtle. I flew Dady's airplanes a month ago or 3 weeks at Triple Tree, and he's got the new burger system. And holy crap, it's a little bit scary. It shuts off so much. He's still learning and working it, but it's what they can do with that. I
Who's
think
that?
Who?
Joe Daly.
Oh, Joe Daly. Yeah.
You said Davy.
No, I'm sorry, Daly.
I thought he said David.
No,
Like, what?
Daly. Davy's got his stuff. He knows what he's doing on that stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder when David's going to switch to electric. He's been watching it a lot last few contests I've seen. He goes and looks at it, but he's still flying at 76.
Man, I
and
bought
the way
on
it's flying, I don't know that I'd change.
Battery end caps.
Oh, there you go.
It's complicated. Electric ain't easy.
It's not easy, but it wasn't easy to learn how to run a Fox 35 or an OS 35 either.
35
but we learned.
But not, I never did.
Run that in my
Well, I tell
CD.
you something. I learned. Now you talk about craziness in electronics. I couldn't figure out why I'm using a Fioretti timer, but I'm using badass ESC. Well, you program this thing, and I've got a button on the side of mine that before you plug the battery in, you plug this in, and you hear the ESC initialize. You hear it power up. Then you plug
Before
in
the
short
battery?
plug. Yeah, it's along with it. It's
Oh.
a resistor. It mounts to a switch has a resistor on it, so it doesn't, charge up right now. It gets just a little bit of a charge through a resistor. It's one of the systems that's out there, and it's Igor had it in his paper 2 years ago.
D-Sparker.
Yeah, D-Sparker, that's it.
Oh.
Well, anyway, as long as I remember to push that button and wait for it to power up and put that in there, that ESC will hold a program, and it'll come up slowly, and at the end of the flight, it'll shut off just bang, and it quits. But you one time forget to push that button and plug that thing straight in, you hear it arc, when that motor starts, it's going to start all at once, and it's going to spool down. That's the one thing about that TCW or whatever it is, the badass ESC. It will lose its programming so easy.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna have to get a decent ESC to go in. I've got two of the Spin 66s that I guess I'm gonna have to try to get them fixed. I don't know if there's something wrong with them or I've just got them programmed wrong. So I gotta take time try to fix that, see what's going on with it.
Spin 66 from Igor.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
But they're the pros. They're the pros. They're not the good ones.
Yeah, no, that's not what you want.
No, but you can't get Igor to sell you this. I'm trying to get Igor to sell me 2 timers and 3 ESCs, and he doesn't want to do that.
Oh,
I didn't know that, but he doesn't want to sell just the ESCs. So,
oh yeah, because you're using with the Fioretti.
well, at this point, I'm gonna get 2 of his timers and put them in 2 new airplanes and just have the ESC as a spare.
Yeah,
because his ESC is so much more difficult. No, when I get his stuff, I'm going to his stuff. Just run one brand is enough for the good planes, and then one brand for the toy planes, the profiles and the other stuff's not going to be quite so hot. But I've about settled on the climb and dive for those. I can build it myself, and it's so simple and it works so well. I'm gonna go with that with them, but I want to get a Igor system to go in the Ombre and then a couple of the new planes.
It's way too complicated.
Well, it's too
Good night,
complicated. But that's the
everybody.
reason they had to have a book.
I'm bailing out on you.
Oh, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
Mary Lou was at the King's Garden today for tea.
Uh-huh.
Her blood sugar went up well above 300.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like I
Oh,
said,
my.
the Dexcom is the ultimate truth detector.
Yeah. For other folks, you can go now, Dennis. Dennis put us on to this diabetes monitoring thing that monitors your blood sugar, and it sends out the data to the internet, so I can monitor Mary Lou's blood sugar when she's in England from here.
Oh my!
Oh my goodness,
Lord.
that might not be a good thing.
Okay, you see that? I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be in that gray area. Anything above the gray is bad high. Anything below the gray is bad low. I never go below almost. So you can see my supper. You see my supper time spike there. So
Oh wow!
You're supposed to go out and run around. That'll
yeah. So at any rate, if she was there having cakes and everything like that,
yeah.
Did it you get the little treat? Do you get the audible warning when she goes high too, or is that just her? You
Yes.
get the okay. So you immediately call her up and tell her to behave herself or something like that, or
Yeah. Cedric,
You naughty, naughty girl.
she said I just dropped 2 bed forward.
anyhow, good night, everybody.
I'm gonna go to.
Good night, Dennis. I think I'm gonna get out of here
Smith,
too.
I did have a question for Sparking. I forgot to ask him. Do you know if he's planning on coming to Fort Wayne this weekend?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I wouldn't have
didn't
thought
hear.
so either because I
No,
don't think he'd
he's
want to make that trip himself or anything. So
yeah,
okay.
he's focused on Rodak right now.
Yeah, it's good.
Another tip
Okay.
for you, Dennis, is that people on Stunt Hangar were talking about fletching glue, and
Yeah.
the place it comes from is just north of Fort Wayne.
For what is it again?
Fletching glue. Look
For
at
arrows.
Bow and arrow shaft to glue the feathers on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like Duco cement almost. There's signet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did see that post. They were okay.
And yeah, it's right north of Fort Wayne. So
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Well, there you go. You can drop in on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking all over the place for a product called Dad Stripper. All right. For paint stripping and stuff like that. It's the stuff Randy Ryan used when he stripped down his airplane. You get it right down to the paper and everything like that, right? Couldn't find it anywhere. Found out it's made in Fort Wayne about 5 miles away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
That's
at any
cool.
rate.
How about that?
Gentlemen, have a good one. We'll
You too, Dennis.
report back next. Does this forum happen on Fridays anymore?
It happens on
Yeah,
Fridays.
yeah, we've been doing Fridays. Yes.
Okay, I might see you Friday. I'll try harder to
I
see you
might
on
be in
Monday if
Nebraska
nothing
and see-
else. Okay.
All right. Hey,
Good
Danny.
Good seeing you.
Good luck with your contest next weekend. Sorry
Thanks.
I can't make it this year.
You got a darn good reason why you can't. I mean, I'm surprised that now to hear that you made it the last 2 years with that kind of pressure. So
Yeah, my daughters were not happy.
yeah,
It's their
that's it.
birthday
You
weekend.
can't do that. So
No.
good night, everybody. See you later.
Good night,
Good
Danny.
night.
Take care, Dennis. I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was. Oh, well. Howard, take care of yourself. You and iPad need to come in Friday.
Oh, Joe's already gone.
Oh, well. I might call him and tell him he needs to come in Friday.
there's a
Take care of yourself. Everybody,
Yeah,
have a good
I think
week.
it's
Yeah, good night. I'm
Yeah, I
gonna,
think
I'm
it's-
gonna
see
hit
you
on
Cut her
that.
down. Yeah. Okay.
time to shut her down. All
Yeah.
right. Good
Thanks,
night,
guys.
Gary,
Yeah. Good night.
Mark, Howard.
Bye.
Take care.
Keep safe there.